Championship Saturday is upon us, and we start with the small but mighty 1A schools here in Ames. The energy rising as we speak for the Denver Cyclones and the Hudson Pirates right here on the IGHSAU Digital Network powered by Mid-American. Ben Gislason, Natalie Gislason, greatly looking forward. There's hardware in the building. We will have a state champion crowned this morning here in Ames. We're going to quickly toss it over to the PA announcer here from the home of the Iowa State Cyclones. We'll get you introduced to the starters, the rosters, the officials, and then we'll get set to kick off the 1A state championship here in Ames.
Now it's time to meet your players for today's championship game. First of all, here are your non-starters for the Hudson Pirates. Number 4, Desiree Lang. Number 7, McKenna Woods. Number 9, Malia Wolf. Number 13, Jocelyn Anderson. Number 15, Caitlin Poppy. Number 18, Aubrey Schoberg. Number 20, Adrian Farwell. Number 21, Macy Rose. Number 23, Ella Annis. Number 25, Rebecca Vidal. And number 26, Abigail Seibel. And now here are your non-starters for the Denver Cyclones. 00, McKenna Broadhead. Number 2, Addison Rome. Number 5, Adeline Decker. Number 13, Mackenzie Simmons. Number 14, Hazel Kohlsrud. Number 16, Evelyn Shia. Number 17, Madeline Johnson. Number 18, Sydney Krabenhoff. Number 19, Nicole Gomez. Number 22, Aubrey Juergens. Number 23, Chrisanne Wirtjes. And now, here's your starting lineup for the Hudson Pirates. Your keeper, number 0, Charlie Austin. Number 1, Gia Baldaviazzi. Number 2, Taylor Junker. Number 3, Taylor Davis. Number 5, Kaylin Stickford. Number 6, Kaylin Wolf. Number 8, Avery Ubin. Number 11, Paige Davis. Number 14, Siri Olsen. Number 16, Callie Stickford. And number 17, Natalie Rausch. And your coaches, Ben Smiley and Ashley Smiley. Now here's your starting lineup for the Denver Cyclones. Your keeper, number 0, Adina Murch. Number 4, Addison Shepard. Number 6, Mackenzie McEwen. Number 9, Kenna Rothmeyer. Number 10, Lydia Gleason. Number 11, Bailey Mullahan. Number 12, Emily Mullert. Number 15, Grace Mullahan. Number 20, Hayden Caldwell. Number 21, Alexis Milder. And number 24, Elise Ricketts. Your coaches, Marissa Lopez, Sammy Durkee, and head coach Kane Eagle. Now let me introduce to you our officials for today's match, as assigned by the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. Your referee, Horace Mujic. Your AR1, Nick Swift. Your AR2, Bridget Kellum. And your 4th, Theron Hitchman. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd be so kind to please stand as we face the flag on the scoreboard and we honor many veterans who have so proudly served The men and women
Getting set to honor our country here as these two clubs will hope to honor their schools and their communities in the 1A state final. We're going to head to a break, and we'll come back and get you introduced to these two very familiar teams here in Ames.
At MidAmerican Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. MidAmerican Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Something exciting is growing on Iowa farms these days. Innovation. From tractors that seed, weed, and harvest with data-driven precision to drones that scout or plant cover crops to protect soil and water. Even our animals live in smart homes with round-the-clock care. Technology keeps your food safer, water cleaner, and makes us more sustainable. Because what we do here benefits everyone here. Life on the farm makes everyone's life better.
Yeah, it's a trip when you hit the road. And when you know when you've arrived. It's a trip when you get everything you want. The burger and the fries, the creek and the crick, the city and the countryside. It's a trip when you're where you're meant to be. In this moment, in this bathroom mirror, looking like $1 million. And yeah, it's a trip when it goes by fast. Des Moines. It's a trip. Make it yours.
Fuel choice that's cheaper, homegrown, and better for the planet? Now that's worth the hype. Pump it up with Unleaded 88.
It's rare you see two teams meeting in the state finals separated by just 21 miles. Conference opponents in Denver and Hudson. Both teams that have seen each other oh so many times in their school's history. Welcome back here as we get prepared for the final here in the 1A side. And unfortunately, looking at a road to a championship on the 3A side, we're talking 1A soccer here this afternoon. So how did Hudson get here? Well, very defensive wins. 1-0 over Trainer in the quarterfinals. In the semifinal, a 1-0 win over Applington Parkersburg. Another North Iowa Cedar League opponent. Lots of North Iowa Cedar League opponents here in the 1A tournament. And on the other side, the champions of that conference, the Denver Cyclones, they went 8-1 over Iowa Falls, Alden in the quarters, and then a 3-2 thrilling penalty kicks win over St. Albert in the semifinals. As we're underway here on the IGHSAU Digital Network, powered by MidAmerican, Ben Gislason, and finally to my partner Natalie Gislason. Two teams that you see, again, separated by just 21 miles. They both surround Waterloo in the state of Iowa. They're awfully familiar, these two teams. They have quite a history, and for Hudson, they've got vengeance on their mind this afternoon.
They certainly do, Ben. Hudson has fallen to Denver 6 times the last 6 games over the last couple years, and they are looking to win this game against Denver. We had the privilege of watching the end of Denver's game yesterday in those penalty kicks, and although it was a wonky penalty kick, they were back and forth on trying to figure out if they had won the game. They were here and they were ready, and Hudson was excited to be able to play them. So this will be quite a match between these two games. These two teams.
The last time Hudson defeated Denver, it was March 28th of 2024. 0-6 since then. So a Pirates team that is just flat out sick of losing to this Cyclones team, and a Cyclones team that's looking to win on the Iowa State Cyclones turf here in Ames.
And there's there's 22 outstanding players on this field, but there's 2 that continue to set records, 1 on each side. So that'll be quite a matchup with the unit of Addison Shepard on Denver, who has scored 38 goals in 21 games, and Taylor Davis on Hudson, who scored 39 goals in 18 games. Most forwards don't see that amount of goals in their 4 years of playing, and these gals have done it in just 1 season.
And for Taylor Davis, crossed the centennial mark this year with over 100 career goals in a remarkable career. And by the way, Davis is just a junior for this Hudson team.
I can't even fathom those numbers as a former player.
An early ooh from the crowd there as Hudson goalkeeper Charlie Austin was able to come out and punch a cross away. Austin, a freshman, starting in goal for this Pirates team. She's anchored this Hudson group all season long, 15 clean sheets. She's not given up a goal in the entire tournament yet.
If you just look at the numbers between the goalies, I mean, only 9 goals allowed in the entire season. Again, that's just an impeccable performance by a goalkeeper, let alone someone who's 14, 15 years old.
Hudson on the attack here with a cross that comes in from the talented junior Davis. 17 assists to go along with the 39 tallies. That leads in both categories for this 1A power, the Pirates. Head coach Ashley Smiley making a 4th straight state tournament appearance. Her and the Pirates, joined by her husband Ben Smiley on the bench. Always nice to have another married team out on the field here. You got a married broadcast team up here as well, myself and my wife Natalie. Natalie Pearson, as she was known when she was a 2-time state champion with the Valley Tigers. Back when the Tigers were winning championships in Muscatine. Of course, the tournament now here in Ames, and it's been, for a 2nd straight season, just a spectacular venue to host this tournament.
Yeah, when I walked in, I hadn't been to a state tournament since I was 18, 17 years old, and just the growth in the number of teams and fans. I joked with you and I said, usually it was just your parents and your boyfriend watching, and now we've got towns coming in to watch, and just the union putting together such a great tournament. There's so much hoopla, and there's food vendors, and just this media production. It's growing with the growth of the sport, which is just great to see.
Taylor Davis, who's had a lot of the ball early in this game, trying to ward her away from pressure. Good defensive play, but the cross is a good one, and that one ends up sailing wide in front. Kaylin Stickford was able to get there. Kenna Rothmeyer has been tasked with handling Davis on that near side, as we'll see the play again. And the ability of Davis, that's a tight window. She was able to carve that off the goal line, and a great opportunity for the Pirates early on in this game. 19-2 Hudson coming into this game, an undefeated Denver Cyclones school at 19-0-3.
Great work by Davis there. I was watching her closely, and I thought there's no way she's going to save that ball, and she did. She kept it off the line and put a great cross right in the 6 outside of the goalkeeper's hands for a scoring opportunity.
There's Addison Shepard, the sophomore, who is of the sensational variety for this Denver school. 38 goals, 23 assists in 21 games. Remarkable numbers, again, for just a sophomore. And when you see some of these smaller schools, Natalie, you're more apt to see younger underclassmen playing. You don't see that as much. The program you played for in Valley, you played as a sophomore, but probably more of a rarity playing as a sophomore or a freshman with a Valley. But you're seeing a lot of underclassmen stepping up at the 1A level. I mean, in this game, we're seeing a sophomore in Shepard who leads her team, and granted an upperclassman in Davis, but still just a junior, not a senior, stepping up here. 2 communities that have shown up with great numbers here to Ames, population of just over 2,500 in Hudson and just shy of 2,000 in Denver. And it's one of the things that really adds such great charm to the tournament, to see the smaller schools and to see just how much a win might mean to these communities. But even if, obviously, we're only going to have one winner today, just getting here, being a part of this, it's something that really lifts these communities up, especially in the 1A class.
Well, when you talk about just the makeup of the teams, and you look across both teams, there actually aren't a ton of seniors on either team as well. And I think that's because, when we were talking with the Denver coach, just the amount of growth in such a short period of time, even over a 1 or 2 year span, more women are getting involved in the sport and are being successful in the sport. And so that's why you're seeing such success at such a young age. I mean, a sophomore to have that many goals in one season, let alone for her age, let alone for sitting for varsity, I mean, just outstanding numbers. But it's neat to see this sport grow so much in small towns because, like we were talking last night when we were watching the World Cup, kids love playing this sport, and then they just stick with it, and it becomes their sport of choice.
Our first substitution of the morning, brought to you by IMT Insurance. Learn how you can worry-free with IMT at imtins.com. Iowa Girls State Soccer Tournament presented by Farm Bureau. Here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy Company. Just getting started here in the first half of the 1A final. We'll have all three state finals right here on your home for girls state soccer.
It's funny, Ben, in your open you said small but mighty, and I was watching those two teams line up, and I thought, I would say tall but mighty. We even talked with the coach. There's some volleyball players as well on these teams. These are both tall teams, so we'll see how that their size and their strength play into their game today.
First-year head coach Kane Eagle, who's been with Denver for 4 years, but his first as the head coach of this Cyclones team, was telling us pregame Denver, a program right now that he expects is only going to keep growing. He has seen their soccer program grow in the 4 seasons he's been around the Cyclones, and that's a very promising sign, especially when you see those smaller communities. You can see a lot more fluctuation and up and down because there just aren't as many girls that you have to pick from, where you're looking at a Waukee Northwest. That obviously suburb just continues to explode and sprawl west, but when you're seeing growth for a small school like this, that's great news for Denver, and I'm sure Kane Eagle thrilled about not only being here, but what the runway for this school could look like with the numbers they have coming up through the ranks.
But that's what's so funny, right? We look at the bench right now, and you can see you can feel a whole nother team with just the bench. And when we called Waukee Northwest game last night, they only had 6 subs. So you have this massive, 3A school or 5A school for some of their sports, and yet they're not fielding nearly as many varsity players as these small schools are. It's just so interesting how they're fielding their teams.
Waukee Northwest will look to defend their 3A title later on this afternoon against Valley. And in the 2A final, it's North Polk and North Scott, a new 2A final. It's been almost exclusively Waverly, Shell Rock, and Dallas Center Grimes for the last 5 seasons, but 2 new faces to the 2A final this year as we get a look for the first time at Adina Murch, the sophomore goaltender who started as a freshman last year for this Cyclones school, who have been to the final 2 years running. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride, trying to take it home this year. But the Pirates with an opportunity now, and Gia DiViezzo, that one was blocked.
A great block there. She had a great scoring opportunity right outside the 18 middle of the net, and 2 gals were immediately there to stop.
Now here is Baldiviezo again. She scored the magical double overtime goal in the semifinal versus Applington Parkersburg. That sent the Pirates here to the state final. We have a long throw in coming from the corner, courtesy of Paige Davis. That one bounces off of a Cyclones player. And this is going to be our opening corner kick of the contest, and Hudson's going to get the first look here.
Wow, Paige Davis, that's lethal. We'll be continuing to watch her as she does throw-ins. She is tall and she can throw that far, so they're going to be using her for set plays, I'm sure, throughout throw-ins and probably both sides of the field.
Little extra edge in the game for this Pirates team. As I mentioned in the open, they have lost 6 in a row dating back to 2024 against their conference rival Denver. That includes a semifinal loss here at the state tournament last year. The cross is in. It bounces and is skipped away by Bailey Mullahan, one of 6 seniors on this roster for Denver. And for Hudson this year, 3-0 and 2-0, the losses against the Cyclones. So the Pirates hoping to get on the board for the first time this season against their longtime foes.
And I believe that was our first corner kick opportunity, first or second corner kick opportunity for Hudson. And the goal with the corner kick is to be able to swing that ball high and then for the team to crash the net for a header opportunity. She was a little short there, and I'm guessing that was their goal. There obviously are some set plays, but that's usually the main play of what we're trying to do. We saw that last night multiple times with the U.S. national team. And so we'll continue to watch those corner kicks and see if there are some good scoring opportunities for either team.
All corner kicks at the tournament brought to you by Channel Seeds. Corner kicks brought to you by Channel. The enhanced Channel Seed brand is here to help farmers like you up your game and rise to the challenge. Learn more at channel.com. Have to imagine maybe everybody on the field right now was watching that U.S. men's national team game in L.A. last night. An incredible 4-1 victory over Paraguay, and a long tournament left, but certainly it was a start that the U.S. soccer world was thrilled about.
Oh, I'm sure that every girl at this tournament last night was watching that game. All of these games were over by the time that the men started, and we had the opportunity to watch it, and just an unbelievable game and an unbelievable pregame show. We were going on and on about just the whole production of how the American culture has taken in sports, and specifically in soccer, in the last 32 years since the '94 World Cup back in the United States. So it's neat to see, and you can see it right here in the state of Iowa, the growth of the girls' game and the boys' game. So soccer is growing and will continue to grow.
Addison Rome clocks in as an IMT substitution for Denver. I would imagine, Nat, even in the time from your playing days, you've seen the growth of the sport of soccer here in the United States grow remarkably. It really has become a sport that is no longer a niche sport in the U.S. like it was when you were playing.
Yeah, absolutely. I just think about the 4 teams that we watched yesterday. The game we were privileged to call was Joaquin Northwest versus Bettendorf for the 3A. And I said, Bettendorf, I don't even know if they would make the tournament, or if they did, if they were even our class. And then the other 2 teams were Ankeny Centennial and Joaquin Northwest, and those 2 schools weren't even in existence. So of the 4, I played for Valley. That was the only one that was regularly in that tournament 15, 20 years ago. So it's just neat to see such bigger conferences and more engagement in the sport. And then you just look at these 2A and 1A classes, and they just have massive amounts of teams and opportunities, and the growth just continues. When I played, our club team was the best team in the state each year, and by the end of the year, all of our competitors, if you were the best on that team, you played on our team. So we had girls coming in 3 times a week from Cedar Rapids and from Ames and from Ankeny, and now you have established clubs in a lot of those cities. So you actually have some competition in the state of Iowa, and you aren't having to spend every single weekend driving to Tennessee or Texas or Florida or all the different places we went, which is just so neat.
Senior Alexis Milder stepping in as an IMT insurance substitution for Kane Eagles' number 1A school, the Denver Cyclones. Ranked number 3 statewide. Coming into this championship game here on what must be a pretty comfortable day, considering some of the heat and at times the wind we saw yesterday during the week leading up to this game. But cloud cover, usually your friend when you're out on the soccer field, Nat?
Yeah, this is pretty much perfect. I mean, we don't all love humidity, but you're just used to humidity when you play in the state of Iowa. There's a nice sun, so you can see some light, but it's covered by clouds. The temperature is good. There is no wind. This is an ideal condition, especially on your state tournament day. You do not want what you were dealing with on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, those 90-degree days with no wind. So this is about as best as you can possibly have.
Well, we are over 15 minutes in to this 1A state championship game, and with the exception of a nice cross by Taylor Davis into the first 5 minutes or so that open to the half, it's been a relatively simple first half. Are teams at all trying to work through nerves right now? Natalie, you've been here before, obviously on the 3A side of the bracket, but when you walk into a state final, even though Denver's been here, have not won, Hudson, this group, has not been to the state final, where is your head at in the first 10, 15 minutes of a game like this?
I think that these gals, I can resonate really well with these gals and vice versa, because these 2 teams don't like each other, right? They've lost to them 6 times. They've got some. Hudson really wants to show that they are the better team, and Denver wants to show them why they aren't and why they keep winning. As Valley, we always came up against Cedar Rapids Kennedy. That was always the team that we had to deal with in the final. And they were very frustrated that we kept beating them, and we were trying as hard as we could to maintain that title. So I totally get what these gals are going through. There's definitely nerves coming into the game because of that long-standing rivalry. And just in general, it's a state tournament. It's the final. one of these teams is going to go home really happy and one is going to go home upset. And unfortunately, just like it was for us from Muscatine, it's a long bus ride home. So you want to be the positive side, not the dreary side. So I think that these gals are kind of working through some nerves, like you said. And simple, that was a perfect word, Benny, to describe this. Both goalies have touched the ball a couple of times, which is great, but most of the action has been in the middle of the field. They're just trying to figure out what works for their team and their passing game.
An attack fizzling out there for Kaylin Stickford, the freshman who was the recipient of that Davis cross I was mentioning earlier. Stickford gets it back. And an active goalkeeper in Adina Murch comes out to gather up the loose crumbs.
Ben, soccer is a game of possession, and that's what we've seen here so far, but we just was missing in that last play, right? The goal is to connect several passes as you move forward through your 3 lines up the field. And I think that Denver's been doing a pretty good job of that. And I think Hudson has as well. But every so often we're getting this almost staccato play where we can't connect passes together. And that's why you've seen both goalkeepers touch the ball in the last minute and a half.
Kenna Rothmeyer, 21-game starter as a junior. Gets it started for Denver. Hudson back in possession with Gia Baldoviezo. Stickford for the Pirates on a turnover. That one's under the foot of Rothmeyer. It'll be out of bounds. That'll allow for a throw in here from the junior Davis. Most goals in the 1A tournament. Davis. And actually they're going to pull her off the throw in because, and I think I agree with that. I don't think Rothmeyer got a touch on that, and it was a pass from Hudson that led to that ball going out of bounds.
Agreed. So far we've seen good reffing too throughout the whole tournament. I think there was just one game where we disagreed with a handful of calls, but and we've also noticed a lot of physicality, which right on cue are there, and refs aren't calling that, which I think is good. If you just let the gals play and understand what they're able to do and not able to get by with, it just helps set the stage for the whole game. And I think the refs have been doing a great job of doing that.
Well, Natalie, you know my background is hockey. And in a game where you're nervous, I was always taught, take a hit or give a hit early in a game, and it can help sort of lock you into the game a little bit more, get engaged. Does a collision like that between Davis and the midfielder Grace Mullahan, does that help to maybe get you engaged into a game like this where your nerves are on it all, kind of wake up the senses?
That's so funny. I've never heard that. I was always just giving a hit. But I like that. Absolutely. When you do have a collision, it does kind of calm you down because it helps you recognize your body and then other bodies are on the field. But certainly, you can see it already. Like, they're starting to be more cohesive in their play, both teams, and there has been some physical hits here. So I would say yes, although I've never heard that before. We may have to pass that on to the next generation.
Now Rothmeyer, another solid job on defending the attack of Davis on the near side. That's a tall task. Now Stickford on the far side. Kaylin working her way, the freshman, and a little too strong on the touch. That'll go out for a goal kick.
You know, I'm a little biased, and I seem to focus on center mids as a former center mid. But Bailey Mullahan has been doing some good work there in the middle for Denver. She is just kind of all over the place, which is what you want in your center mid. She's been defending, she's been offensive, and you just showed me she has 3 yellow cards. That makes sense to me. That's why I've been lasering in on her. I think she's been doing a great work with her body. Hasn't had any calls, I believe, on her, but just is controlling the midfield, which is exactly what you should be doing as a center mid, is controlling your area and getting the ball pumped out everywhere else. It's kind of like you're a quarterback of a football team. You should be the smartest on the field and be aware of where everyone is positioned, the space that you have, and the skills of your teammates.
Shouldn't be surprised you pointing out the yellow card leader on the field in Mullahan with how I was told you played in your playing days.
But what's so neat about soccer now in 2026 versus in 2006 is when I played and you got a yellow card, you had to sit out for the whole half. Now you just have to sub out and you can sub right back in. So it's a great opportunity for those more physical players, but you still are at the risk of getting that red card. So you just have to be a little bit more thoughtful and not necessarily timid, but just more thoughtful in your play.
It's safe to say you might have had more yellow cards if you played in today's soccer game than you did in the 2000s?
Yeah, but I had so many yellow cards, both club and high school,
Yeah.
and
There's
they
a
were
foul.
always wrong.
Spoken like a true athlete. Foul against Hudson that will not result in a card. There's a look at Taylor Davis.
It's funny, really quick, when we're talking about fouls and yellow cards, I've noticed the game has changed a lot. There's just been so many changes in the last 15 to 20 years. I slide tackled all the time, and I've only seen 2 slide tackles in the 5 games that we've called.
Well, this was a tricky play on the back line for Callie Stickford, the senior, and she could feel Addison Shepard breathing down her neck.
And a good opportunity, but she had 2 to 3 gals on her, so that's difficult, especially when you're that close to the net. It's going to be hard to get a shot off there. And like you said, it came in awkwardly, kind of around her shoulder, so she couldn't do much there. Other than they got a throw in, which is great, and they kept it on their top third.
Final 17 and a half of the first half here at the 1A state final on the IGHSAU Digital Network, powered by Mid-American Energy. Ben Gislason, Natalie Gislason, the rest of our broadcast crew here, bringing you this 1A state final. Both of these teams at this point really just dipping their toes in the water. Have not seen either team take a big swing yet. Back and forth, we've seen some possession at both ends. Right now, Denver trying to set up shop. Number 1 seed in the tournament. A long try. That's off the top of the net. And there's Bailey Mullahan again taking a gander. She had 11 goals on the year, so she does have a knack for finding the back of the net for this Cyclones team, as we'll see it again.
So you see her post up just right off. There was no tap in or anything. She could get that shot off with that much power in one shot. Again, that's a great center midfielder to be able to have that much control on a moving ball. And she was just over on the upper 90 on the right side. So I would keep my eyes on her. Those numbers totally make sense for me. And 11 goals as a senior center midfielder, because she's probably a big assister, which is her main role. Yep, 16 assists. So her numbers are spot on. That's exactly what you want to see from a center mid.
We were talking last night watching the U.S.-Paraguay game about the importance in a scoring situation of taking it on the first time. And that's what Flo Balogun did last night on one of his 2 goals. And that's exactly what Mullahan did there from a much longer distance than Balogun, who scored from right in front of goal. Set up beautifully by the attack of the men's national team last night. Here's an attack for Hudson. Stickford's cross, it goes through the green towards the middle, trying to keep that on the ground, looking for the attack of Ubin, who looks back for a high cross from the middle of the field, and that ends up landing in the clutches of the goalkeeper, Adina Murch.
Ben, you see that, and we watch so much professional hockey, and now we're able to sit and watch 39 games of professional soccer. Like, that is what the best athletes do. They are able to collect the ball, the puck, etc., and be able to hit it off with one shot. The fact that you're seeing a senior girl in high school do that just shows the athleticism, right? That's what makes a great athlete. And so I hope to continue to see more of that from both sides on these teams, to see that from their center mids and their forwards.
Long-range try from the senior Ubin. That one was gathered up by Murch, who's had a pretty comfortable morning so far. Into the final 15 of this first half, still looking for the game's opening strike here on the IGHSAU Digital Network, powered by Mid-American. Kaylin Stickford, who's had a lot of the ball for Hudson. That one's knocked out of play by Mackenzie McEwen, 19-game starter as a junior for Denver.
What also is so neat about what the union has done here is you're seeing these 2 1A classes, some of these girls freshmen, and they are playing on a Division I soccer field, and they're sitting on Division I soccer benches. What a neat opportunity for these girls to have. We did not have that when we played. Some of us got to play Division I, which was great. I told you I had a little PTSD when I walked onto this field, thinking of the sprints that I used to have to do. But I just am so impressed that the union has been able to secure this facility and that these girls have this opportunity. And you could see the joy and the elation in their faces when they stepped on the field and were able to play on this kind of pitch.
Yeah, it has to be a bit of awe and wonder when you walk into a field like this. And obviously, as girls soccer players in the the state of Iowa. They will have paid keen attention to Iowa State, Iowa Hawkeye soccer, and those are obviously the two teams everybody pays attention to. And to be here and play on this field is something that none of these players will ever forget. And obviously, we'll hope to be back here again next year. And some were here last year playing in this final, that being the Denver squad.
Yeah, I would imagine. I mean, I grew up in the Des Moines area, so we would go to Drake soccer camp and we'd go to Iowa State soccer camp. But I'm guessing that the University of Iowa had a soccer camp similar with both these teams located in that Cedar Falls, Waterloo area. They may have had the opportunity to go to camps like that and so play on these fields, but never to actually play an actual game on the field. Just such a cool opportunity.
Foot race here for Stickford and McEwen. It's a body contact that sends Stickford down hard to the turf. And she's still laboring a bit over there on the far side. With 12:40 remaining here in a scoreless first half, Stickford's going to get a brief look at here by the officials.
I think she got the wind knocked out of her, but more so on the back. I know she's going forward, and I think she's spitting. I think the back of her head is really hurting her. Wow, watch that coach cruise there to figure out what's going on. Great work by her.
Yeah, Ashley Smiley coming over, 11 seasons at the helm of the Pirates.
Yeah, usually when you get hit and you get the wind knocked out of you, it's usually because you get hit in the stomach with a ball or a shot. But what was interesting is she was leaning forward with her neck and her head. So I'm guessing that she got hit from the back there, and they're working through that.
Chance we can get a replay of the contact there. So both teams will grab a moment to collect their thoughts here. One of those built-in timeouts that you don't expect to have, as Stickford is attended to by the medical staff here, as well as her coach, Ashley Smiley. And she's still down, and obviously hoping that this is just something she can shake off and won't keep her out for the rest of the game, not only just for her own experience, but considering the fact Stickford has had a lot of the ball for Hudson. She's probably been the player that's made the most attempts at an attack. A lot of the opening for offense has come on the far side of the field from us here in the press box. And so Stickford, a huge part of this offense for Hudson. 11 goals on the year and 9 assists. And she has one of the 2 goals that Hudson has scored in the entirety of this tournament. Again, just 2 1-0 wins for this Hudson team. And Stickford's responsible for one of those 2 goals. She scored the game-winning goal and the only goal against Trainer in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, she's been great, especially there on the right side. Like you said, one of the 2 goals. And she just obviously uses her body well and can take some heat. And she's been great just on the flank in general, but also getting the ball in the middle. So hoping, well, one, she's just okay. She's still on the ground, which is a bit troublesome. They don't, the coach and athletic staff don't look too worried, but she's still on the ground. But 2, she is a senior. She is vital to the team. She's high energy. Oh, my apologies. She's a freshman. I was looking at the wrong name. But still, I mean, with that much success as a freshman, right, you want to get her back up onto playing this game. So hoping that we get this solved and she's all right. I mean, this is a long time to be down.
Yeah, her sister Callie is senior. Both starters on this Pirates roster. And you look and you see Stickford, freshman starter. You see the goaltender, Charlie Austin, freshman starter. Natalie Roush, freshman starter. Paige Davis, freshman starter. And we've talked about the underclassmen and the impact that they've had in this 1A tournament.
Yeah, and something that's pretty neat about this tournament, I know we just glossed on it, but it's the amount of sisters. And that was not a thing when I played. Just so many different sisters. We see it right here on the Hudson team with the Stickford sisters, but so many twins we've seen across these different teams. What a family affair. Hopefully those parents were either soccer players before. Oh man, we're seeing the stretcher come out here, which isn't good. Again, she kept grabbing her neck, and then I noticed she was lolching forward and spitting. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Neither of us have science backgrounds, but that's never good to see a stretcher on a soccer field.
Yeah, it's one of the worst words you can actually say on a soccer broadcast. This is never something that you hope to stay as far away from a situation like this as possible, and we'll certainly be hoping for good news on Kaylin Stickford, the freshman, and that this will just be precautionary. And oftentimes it can be. Just because you see a stretcher doesn't mean that she's going to be hopping in an ambulance here anytime soon. But we certainly hope that this is only precautionary for Kaylin Stickford. And we'll take a break here on the IGHSAU Digital Network powered by Mid-American. We'll come back with the final 12:26 of this first half here in the 1A Finals in Ames.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Something exciting is growing on Iowa farms these days. Innovation. From tractors that seed, weed, and harvest with data-driven precision to drones that scout or plant cover crops to protect soil and water. Even our animals live in smart homes with round-the-clock care. Technology keeps your food safer, water cleaner, and makes us more sustainable. Because what we do here benefits everyone here. Life on the farm makes everyone's life better.
Yeah, it's a trip when you hit the road. And when you know when you've arrived. It's a trip when you get everything you want. The burger and the fries, the creek and the crick, the city and the countryside. It's a trip when you're where you're meant to be. In this moment, in this bathroom mirror, looking like $1 million. And yeah, it's a trip when it goes by fast. Des Moines. It's a trip. Make it yours.
Fuel choice that's cheaper, homegrown, and better for the planet? Now that's worth the hype. Pump it up with unleaded 88.
A championship Saturday mired in a somber scene right now as freshman forward Kaylin Stickford has been loaded up onto the stretcher to be wheeled off the field here, as that was the Denver fan section standing up to applaud, and seen the family of Kaylin make their way down there, and also senior sister Callie was over there and checking in. Just reading body language, obviously the parents there have to be frightened right now, but you're looking at the body language and it didn't look too frantic. It didn't look too, we need to get this going now. Again, you don't want to make any assumptions, but just having seen situations like this before, myself working at the professional hockey league level, I've seen scary hits, I've seen scary things happen. And the one thing I'm always watching for is how urgent are the medics? How urgent are the people involved? So I would lean towards saying this is a precautionary move. Dad doesn't look like he's panicking too much walking out, as dad shouldn't. They should be the rocks, right? And so hopefully all will be well for Kaylin Stickford, but a very unfortunate seemingly ending to this 1A final for her, and she'd been such an important part of this team's push here in the first half. And so now, Natalie, after a very long delay, they did stop the clock, which makes sense for a medical timeout. How do both teams bounce back from this, and probably specifically, how does Hudson bounce back from this?
Yeah, Ben, I couldn't agree more with your analysis of just what just happened there. The Hudson gals, right, with one of the sisters still being on the team as the senior, the freshman is who unfortunately got carted out, and the senior is still on the team and she plays. I think there's almost a new fire inside of them, right? They just saw one of their very good players, who's been a starter the entire season, get carted off, and they also have lost to this team 6 times. Like, that just gives them more reason to want to score this goal, which is why, surprise, surprise, here's a scoring opportunity from that outside mid. from Taylor Davis. It just continues to be on their top third. So I think they're going to come back really, really hungry. It'll be interesting to see how Denver responds to this, because I honestly, I don't remember. I didn't see the replay of who hit her. But if they change their game in any way, or if it just affects them, that there was a very long break there and they're about to walk into halftime, I can't really speak to how Denver's going to react, other than I think they'll just continue to play their game. But it'll be interesting. This certainly gives more fire for Hudson, though.
Both teams have to lock it back in here. We're probably trying to stay limber during a long pause like that. Certainly your body's not acclimated to mid-game having a long pause like that. Even the hydration breaks we were seeing earlier this week, they weren't that long. They were about a minute and a half long, and then you were right back at it. And some of the days we had weren't hot enough to merit the hydration breaks.
That's what I thought of too, Ben, is they go out for 30 seconds, a minute, and their coach tells them how they need to fix their game while they're drinking water. This was a long stretch, and you even saw Denver come back out because they thought we were playing, we were ready to go, but that took quite a while, so they went back in. So just the constant movement, right? You want to stay warm, and unfortunately, it's not very hot, which actually helps your body stay warm. It's great for when you're playing, but in those long breaks time, so they kind of have to re-warm up here, which is why you might see some interesting play in the next 2 minutes, and then they'll be right back. But then, of course, 10 minutes later, they'll be sitting for half. So.
A swift move down the right-hand side by Nicole Gomez, freshman for Denver. Hurried off of the ball by Gia Baldoviezo. An intercept from Addison Rome.
Hudson's doing a little bit, actually, what we were talking about yesterday in the 2A class. They're working really hard to get the ball, but then they get a little frantic, and then they end up passing it to the other team or passing it out of bounds. And it's probably just, again, nerves from what just happened, but you can just see the hustle from the Hudson team. And then it's, I don't know what to do with this ball. I've got pressure on me. So we'll see how Hudson reacts, but that's something I would talk about at halftime is you guys are doing the work on the front end, then reward yourself by being thoughtful when you're under pressure to move that ball forward.
Well, one thing is we get a trio of substitutions for Kane Eagle and the Cyclones here, brought to you by IMT Insurance. One thing head coach Kane Eagle has to be thinking is how can we get our star forward Addison Shepard some more touches? She has barely touched the ball in this first half. And again, you look at this Cyclones team and how many of their goals this season have come from Addison Shepard, 38 in total of the how many they've totally scored. That's a big margin.
Again, that is a nod to Hudson being a good defensive team. When you know you have a player that is outstanding, the other team needs to have two girls on her at all time, if not more.
Well, Denver is going to get a channel corner kick, and it's Shepard knocking it in. The ball's loose after it found Mullahan, and a good clear by this rigid group of defenders for the Pirates. And now Taylor Davis has some green to work with. She'll attack one-on-one on Rothmeyer. She sprints around the defender. Davis has room. She'll shoot, and it's just wide. A tremendous run from Taylor Davis that almost found the morning's opening goal.
Taylor Davis just continues to impress. Over 100 career goals. You can see here, this starts all the way on the other side of the field. She takes it, heads it, moves it forward, and then just has this one little play around the gal. The gal sticks her, and she goes right past her, goes towards the net, sees the opening on the right side, and it's just a little too right, but smart with how she played that. She played it low right because the goalie had to dive. I think Taylor Davis will be scoring today.
It does feel like if there is a player that's going to make a mark in this game that has been low event to this point, Taylor Davis has been involved in all of the offense so far for Hudson. No surprise, with 39 goals and 17 assists. Not to mention someone who wants to make her mark on this tournament. She hasn't scored here in Ames yet.
Oh, wow, and with those kind of numbers, then she's dying for a goal. So far, she's been the player that I've noticed the most on the Hudson side, so I'm guessing something will happen, whether she's the goal scorer or the playmaker.
Well, we've seen her both create an opportunity for her teammate and for herself there.
And I will say, Ben, we have seen the ball a lot more on our side than I've seen it on the right side. So Hudson knows that she's the best, and or they know that Denver is weak on this right side. I'm guessing more it's the former, just with Davis's speed and her skill.
Now stepping and jarring one loose is Grace Mullahan, another one of those sister connections that you were talking about, Natalie. Grace Mullahan and Bailey Mullahan, twin sisters, both seniors here. Great work from Grace along the outside of the 18, but there's Taylor Davis again coming back and has had her fingerprints all over this game, and that was defensively where she was factoring in, and pretty similar to where actually that great scoring opportunity started on the last change of possession. She was back defending when that ball got popped loose and then sprinted away. So she's someone that's proven she can cover a lot of ground for this Pirates team.
Well, I'm trying to figure out the formation for Hudson. Most of us are used to 4-4-2s or sometimes 3-5-2s, but it's almost like I can't figure out if she's playing outside mid or if she's an outside striker, because if she's an outside striker, she is coming way back. The fact that she's in her own 18. But it looks like they've got these 4 midfielders, and then they have 5 midfielders and 4 defense. So they're a very defensive team. I can see why Hudson's been successful in defending balls. And they have just 1 forward. Got it. Okay, so she is really controlling the entire left side of the field.
Here comes Davis again. Look at the defenders swarming on her. That one's off of Davis and out. And that was star on star. Coming back to defend was Addison Shepard.
Just the conditioning needed for these midfielders on Hudson to be able to go that offensive where they're almost scoring goals and then go that defensive where they are literally blocking goals in the 6 and the 18. They will not have trouble getting through an 80-minute game if that's the kind of runs that they're used to making.
Shepard with a staggering 5 goals in this tournament alone. Good handful of those goals coming in the 8-1 win over Iowa Falls Alden. She factored in as well in the 3-2 victory over St. Albert that ended in penalty kicks. But it's been a strangely quiet morning for her. And nothing quiet about the play of Taylor Davis so far for Hudson as she continues to draw defenders on her. That's Shepard again, and Shepard maybe just trying to factor into the game defensively to wake herself up a little bit.
She's not going after that one. She can't go after every ball, and they keep using her here on the left side. I think Hudson has taken total control of this game since the injury. And, you know, we've seen the ball a little bit over here on the right side on their back half, but it has primarily been an offensive play by Hudson, which is exactly what we thought was going to happen with the fire underneath them.
At the midfield, Kaylin Wolf trying to launch one over towards Davis' vicinity, and feels like right now Hudson knows they've got the hot foot in Davis, and they're going to try to do what they can to get the ball on her side of the field.
I think I spoke too soon. I think she's running out of steam. She's trying to kind of withhold a little bit, but they keep using her over and over. I think that they maybe need to back off these last 3 minutes, use the right side, the right flank, and get to halftime.
Baldoviezo trying to flick that one on. Effort comes from Wolf and lands on the foot of Davis, and here she comes again. Speeding her way towards the corner. Holds up and cuts back on Rothmeyer. Davis, a good centering ball. Ubin trying to spin off of a tackle. Wolf had it knocked away, and now a touch for Addison Shepard. Tried to prance around a couple of Pirates and wound up taking one down for a foul. Trying to step up and getting in the way. Good work from Callie Stickford, the senior. Well, this was a beautiful first move, but Stickford read the touch well. A little strong off the foot of Shepard, and that's just good defensive positioning and a good read by the 18-game starter Stickford.
Yeah, not purposeful at all. I mean, it was just a simple trip. It really brought her down.
Long ball in that skips. Oh, and that was almost a huge mistake by the goalkeeper, Murch. After the long ball came in from midfield off of Taylor Junker's left foot. And as this one was coming in, Natalie, I couldn't help but think the angle that Murch was taking, if this one takes too much of a hop, she might be in trouble, and she'll just have to breathe that one away and say, all right, we're fine.
Yeah, I hit you. I hit you because I thought that was going in from my angle. I couldn't see it was to the right of the net, but I thought that was going to hop right over her into the net without her, using her arms to grab up. So, wow, what a scoring opportunity there. Again, Hudson just continues to go forward. Like, we have seen this ball on the side of the half most of the time since the injury.
Well, we saw Reese Barnett of North Scott score an improbable goal from the touchline on the far side of the field that tied the game in the 2A semis against Norwalk. And so we've seen stranger things this week, Natalie, at the tournament. That would have been a strange but very fortuitous start for Hudson. Granted, they've earned some bounces with the way they've played since Kaylin Stickford, their strong freshman winger, left on a stretcher roughly 12 minutes ago here in the first half. We're into the final 35 of this scoreless, but first half that's beginning to get more entertaining by the minute here as Hudson's really tilting the field.
And just some great cheering we can hear from the fans, cheering them on as they're in the 18 with 20 seconds to go, trying to find a scoring opportunity.
Valdiviezo there was trying to settle that ball down. Had she been able to, she might have been able to do something with that on her right foot. Final 7 seconds here of the first half.
4, 3, 2, 1, and time.
And this game will head to the second half scoreless. A Hudson Pirates team that will leave the first half thinking, well, we're on the front foot, and perhaps today is the day that they finally end this 2-year drought against their conference rivals, the Denver Cyclones. Natalie, thoughts from both benches as we head into the intermission?
Yeah, if I'm Hudson's coach, I'm saying two things. One, I would want to see more out of Ullman. She keeps getting the ball sent to her from Taylor Davis, and she has her back to the net, which is fine, but she needs to be able to feed off to our offensive mid to score that goal. And then I would say, you guys, we got to use the right side of the field. We are spending all of our time on the left side, which is working, and it's great. We need to keep doing that, but we haven't even really explored the other side of the field. For Denver, it comes back to Taylor Davis again. We need to shut her down because she keeps beating Denver on that left side. And then also, Denver has played kind of a sleepy game. I would say we need to get the energy back up. I don't know if it was the injury or if it was just in general, but we have a good team here. We've won before. We had this awkward game yesterday where we got to penalties. We don't want to have to deal with that again. Let's get livened back up. The energy needs to be up there. And I see those three coaches right now for Denver getting together, and I'm hoping they're saying something like that.
Plenty of storylines heading into the second half here in the 1A state championship game. It's Denver, it's Hudson. Tons of history between these two clubs. Who will get the final say in the 2026 Girls State Soccer campaign? Taylor Davis would love to have a hand in that. It's scoreless heading into the second half here on the IGHSAU Digital Network, powered by Mid-American.
Oh, don't leave yet, fans. We've got a treat for you. We've got the T-shirt launcher. Who wants a T-shirt?
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Yeah, it's a trip when you hit the road. And when you know when you've arrived. It's a trip when you get everything you want. The burger and the fries, the creek and the crick, the city and the countryside. It's a trip when you're where you're meant to be. In this moment, in this bathroom mirror, looking like $1 million. And yeah, it's a trip when it goes by fast. Des Moines. It's a trip. Make it yours.
Hey, Frank. Oh, it looks like you spilled some grease.
Grill
multiplying, and you need flavor that's bold.
There's nothing left for you to do
but to go to Fairway, your dream for Midwest meat. It's the one you need. Yeah!
Fairway, it's the one you need.
Excelling in athletics takes teamwork, dedication, and a commitment to excellence. These are the same qualities that help our pig farmers and our communities thrive. The Iowa Pork Producers Association is proud to support statewide high school athletics and the student athletes who make us all proud. Visit iowapork.org/WeCare to meet the people behind the pork and hear about our winning approach to caring for our pigs, the environment, and our communities.
Life's buzzing with energy, from the delightfully routine, to the novel and exciting, to the truly uncharted. With all that life brings, it's easy to lose track of what powers all those moments, our health. At Mercy One, our caring doctors focus on just that, powering health, from the everyday to the extraordinary. So you're ready for what life brings next. Find care at mercyone.org/healthpowerslife.
As we take a quick break from tournament coverage, all of us at the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union want to extend our sincere appreciation to our title sponsor, the Iowa Farm Bureau, for their continued support of this championship event. I'm joined once again by Brent Johnson, president of the Iowa Farm Bureau, who's here to share more about the special souvenirs our participating student athletes will be taking home this week.
You know, that's right, Aaron. Our incredible student athletes won't.
At MidAmerican Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. MidAmerican Energy. Obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Yeah, it's a trip when you hit the road. And when you know when you've arrived. It's a trip when you get everything you want. The burger and the fries, the creek and the crick, the city and the countryside. It's a trip when you're where you're meant to be. In this moment, in this bathroom mirror, looking like $1 million. And yeah, it's a trip when it goes by fast. Des Moines. It's a trip. Make it yours.
Whether you volunteer or hang with friends, play pickleball, read or follow trends. No matter what your retirement style, you deserve healthy eyes and a healthy smile. Some Medicare plans don't cover vision or dental. With Delta Dental, you can save on what's essential. Get coverage and take care of your health. It's peace of mind, so treat yourself. It's more affordable than you might think. Give us a call or visit this link.
Excuse me, ma'am. You dropped this.
Oh.
Something exciting is growing on Iowa farms these days. Innovation. From tractors that seed, weed, and harvest with data-driven precision, to drones that scout or plant cover crops to protect soil and water. Even our animals live in smart homes with round-the-clock care. Technology keeps your food safer, water cleaner, and makes us more sustainable. Because what we do here benefits everyone here. Life on the farm makes everyone's life better.
Freedom Tire is proud to support the Iowa Girl through their sponsorship of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. With 6 locations around the metro, you're never far from getting you back or keeping you on the road. Our certified staff and state-of-the-art technology means you can take comfort knowing you've got the best work at the best prices. Give us a try at Freedom Tire, a proud supporter of the IGHSAU.
Set to chant for the second half here on the IGHSAU Digital Network, powered by Mid-American. The 1A state final goes scoreless into the second half between the Hudson Pirates and the Denver Cyclones. Ben Gislason with former midfielder of the Valley Tigers, 2-time state champion, and an all-tournament team member. Natalie Gislason's with us here as well as we continue our all-week-long coverage of the state girls soccer tournament here in Ames. And right now, after a first half that it did feel like Hudson held most of the cards, Denver, with this reset during the intermission, will have the opportunity to try to shift the game back into their balance in the second half here.
Yeah, I think halftime couldn't have come at a better time for Denver. They needed to regroup because Hudson right now is hungry because they're 6 games down. They've had a great first half, and then one of their players got injured. So they have a lot of motivation. Denver needed a quick regroup and recalibration, and we'll see if that's what they were able to do in that 10-minute halftime.
We did get an update during the intermission about the status of Kaylin Stickford. It sounds like they're thinking it might be a concussion, which certainly is scary. But when you see someone leave on a stretcher, you're thinking about maybe some scarier things that could be the case. So hopefully, you hate to say you hope for a concussion, but in a situation like that, you do, because most players will recover from those. And obviously wishing well for Kaylin Stickford, but sounds like she should be okay with some time and some rest, which she's going to get because the season ends here today, no matter what, for this Hudson team. But she'd love to get a report sooner than later here that her Pirates are headed home with the 1A state championship, which is what is on the line now as we step into the second half, and it starts with a long cross in from Taylor Davis, and now a long try from midfield goes wide of the cage from the junior Kaylin Wolf.
Ben, as we started the second half, I thought, well, I think I'm going to have to adjust my eyes to start focusing on what's going on the other side, because again, Taylor Davis is now over on the far left side. She was close to us here in the first half, and right off the bat, that's exactly where the ball is. So we'll see if Denver is able to shut her down, shut that flank down, and see if we see the ball a little bit more in the center part of the field as well as on the right side.
Valdivieso connecting with Malia Wolf. Another one of those sister combos. Malia Wolf and Kaylin Wolf. Apologies there for that quick jarring on the broadcast. Natalie bumped her headset into a water bottle next to us here, a Yeti water bottle, so nice tinny sound we got there. Don't worry, everybody's okay.
Sorry about that.
Gotta say, that's a broadcast first, and I've called hundreds and hundreds of games.
I'm trying to see the full game here, and I needed to get as close as I could to the window there.
Hopefully no one had the volume too high for that. As a cross comes in, and that one is going to be gobbled up by Murch. Channel Seeds corner kick.
What's interesting is you have Taylor Davis, we're going to see it here on the replay. She comes all the way over here to do the corner kick as well. So she, again, is all over the place, and you can tell she's left-footed, which is exactly what you want on this left side to be taking these corner kicks. So it'll be interesting to see if Hudson gets a corner kick there on the other side, who takes it, because that's her side. She just swings left from the outside, which is probably what they'll do.
Battle ensuing over on the far side of midfield. Bailey Mullahan digging in there. She's able to get the call for Denver, working on Taylor Davis.
That's so interesting. I was wondering who the ref was going to call there because I both thought they were kind of going at each other, and I actually thought it was going to end up going the other way. So Denver gets a nice call there. And, of course, it's Bailey Mullihan using her body again. So we'll see what they can do with this free kick.
It'll be Addison Shepard to take it. She loops it in. That one's knotted backwards by her teammate Aubrey Juergens. And then a long try, too long. That will serve as a goal kick now for the freshman Charlie Austin. 15 clean sheets for Austin this year in her freshman season. An excellent start for the starter.
Yeah, that's frustrating for Addison Shepard. That was a beautiful direct kick, or indirect kick. That was the goal, is to get it elevated over the wall and to drop right where your players are all running in with their heads. She couldn't have placed it better. And what was kind of frustrating there is you have Mackenzie McEwen trying to score that goal, but she's a defender, so she's used to clearing the ball. And so when you clear the ball, you'll notice a lot of their chests will go up, which makes the ball go up. And you do not want to do that on a scoring opportunity because that's what you get. You get way like a touchdown for football. So hoping maybe we can get a midfielder in the position to take that shot versus a defender, or at least someone that's going to keep their chest down and just have more opportunity.
Valdivieso looking to stoke one ahead, trying to connect with Avery Ubin, who's had a few looks today for Hudson. Denver back in possession with Aubrey Juergens. Juergens galloping ahead, trying to connect with Addison Shepard, who was hustling horizontally. This one's out for a throw-in. Darting over to pick it up is Grace Mullihan, the senior. Takes a stride and throws it in, finding Mackenzie McEwen. The junior will float one in towards the top of the 18, headed towards the net, and that's a simple stop for the freshman Austin.
I know I'm a stickler, but the refs have been pretty lax on throw-ins. I've noticed that throughout the entire tournament that we've called. You're supposed to have both feet planted when you release the ball, and I have not seen that regularly throughout all 5 games. I've seen a player lift a foot, and they're usually behind, so you just saw it right there. And she didn't even fully drag. And it's good that the refs aren't calling that, but it might be good to call that early on so that they're playing the rules of the game exactly as B.
Denver has opened the second half here with a little more possession time on the attacking side of the field. They were hemmed in their own half for much of the final 15 minutes of that 40-minute first half. Again, neither team has found the back of the net yet here in this 1A state final. A chance developing for Juergens. Too strong of a touch. And the clearance comes away from the junior Kaylin Wolf. Long try from Mullihan, and smartly the freshman lets that one go out for a goal kick.
I think that was Kenna Rothmeyer on the Denver team on the right side defense. That was a great ball. I mean, she wasn't specifically trying to find a player. She was just crashing the net with she was just putting the ball into the net area. And here we're going to see a replay.
Mullihan.
No, Mullihan was with the shot. Before that was the defender that put it into the net. There are 2 different plays there, one right after the other. So good work on Denver for moving forward, trying to go towards the net and getting the goalie some touches or just some looks really early on.
Denver team with 4 starters from last year's state finalists back in the lineup this year. 2 straight seasons of finishing second place, trying to make this year the year that they finally bring home the hardware they've been looking for. That one's wide off the foot of Grace Mullihan.
You can tell Hayden Caldwell, she's a stopper there for Denver. She wanted to rocket that last shot into the net, but the ref was standing right in front of her. So out of kindness, she decided not to. Good tackle.
Denver again holding court here. Mullihan off of her knee. Pass ahead from Malia Wolf. Knocked along by Ubin. And now on the far side of the field, our first look at Rebecca Vidal, who's going to play on that flank. They've moved Taylor Davis in a little more to the interior from where she was playing in the first half.
Again, that's just another example where I'd like to see Denver, like they had time and space there, number 6 did, to move forward, and she just got flustered. And that's not necessarily on her, that's on her team for not talking and saying you have time. And usually you scream time so that they're aware, so that they don't have to make a reaction right away. And then she could have collected that ball and gotten it forward. So I do, we have the Nat mics on. I'd like to hear more talking amongst the players. Although we're hearing a lot of the parents and the fans.
Great showing from both the Hudson faithful and the Denver faithful here at the ISU Cyclone Sports Complex here, the home of the Iowa State Cyclone women's soccer program. And a tackle in midfield by Davis. That's called a foul as Mackenzie McEwen went to ground.
What I love about McEwen here is she was who I was just talking about, how she wasn't taking her time, and she took her time there. She saw what she had. She actually got the ball past 2 gals, and then she got a foul. That is what happens when you take your time. You're either able to make a play or get a foul, and now here we have a scoring opportunity.
Valdivieso gets called for the foul. A good cross in. This has got a chance, and it's wide. Well, Shepard is really finding the right crosshairs on some of these crosses. She's been sifting into the box lately. This was another dandy, as we'll see another look at it. Wonder who got ahead on this.
Oh, yep. I would be frustrated if I was Denver too. That was off of a Hudson player. That was off of Stickford. And I thought it was off of her chest, and she turned. So good defending, but should have been a corner kick. Sometimes refs get it wrong. It's hard. We can see it from a replay, and every player is going to react saying it's their ball, so you can't go off of player reactions.
Well, as I always like to say, especially when we're sitting this far removed, which we weren't over on Lead recreational fields, it was sidelines. Makes our job a lot easier to sit up in a perch like we've got here at the home of the Cyclones. But it looks a lot slower up here than it does when you're down there on the field. And that's, of course, where the officials are, right in amongst the players. And they don't have the courtesy of VAR like you see at the World Cup. So they got to make it once, and they got to make it right if they can.
So this is a new rule. They just did exactly what I was talking about with a friend recently. You can now, in goal kicks, you can now kick the ball within the 18. And I just said that to a friend yesterday, and we were thinking, why would you ever do that? Well, this is why, so you can clear it out. But this is why I wouldn't, because stuff like that happens. You have a scoring opportunity very quickly when your whole defense is out of the box. So when you have those goal kicks, I wouldn't be doing set plays that close to the 18. I'd be getting that ball moving forward and get your whole team up.
That was Malia Wolf, who was able to manufacture a chance out of thin air. Shot did not go where she wanted it to go.
And there's that long throw from Paige Davis. They're going to keep using her on the outside because she can really get the ball forward. Even there, she had the opportunity to collect the ball with her feet and chose not to.
She'll happily take the throw in.
Unusual for soccer players. We like using our feet much more than our hands.
Well, when you can fire it like Davis can, though. I can't say I blame her for taking an opportunity when she has the chance.
Unlucky touch there by Hudson. Trying to use her body. Wolf trying to use her body to get the ball moving forward.
2 subs coming in, courtesy of IMT Insurance for the Cyclones. That's Emily Muellert and Addison Rome coming in. Muellert 6 goals on the season, the junior. Rome's been a frequent option for Kane Eagle as a substitution. Been a part of 19 games for the Cyclones this year. And now here's Taylor Davis. Haven't called her name much at all here in the second half. And a big collision there between Vidal and Elise Ricketts.
So that was quite a body check. You can see it here in the replay. Great ball into open space and just the speed from this outside midfielder. Now here's what I do not have an issue with that play. I hear a lot of people groaning. Like the ball was right there. I mean, she really couldn't have divoted out of the way that quickly. And she just had a lot of strength and she was running full speed. So I'm glad that they did not make that call.
high flying ball into the 18. Could not connect with Malia Wolf.
It's always scary when you see those balls coming in high and one player's about to use their neck or their head or their chest and the other player's about to use their foot and they're combining.
I could see why that would be scary.
Thankfully, there wasn't an issue there, but that's always scary on how people are going to dictate which body part to use.
Now Vidal will come out. Another IMT insurance substitution. Kaylin Wolf will come back in for the Hudson Pirates. 7 minutes from the halfway mark in our second half. Still no score here on the IGHSAU Digital Network, powered by Mid-American Energy. Alongside Natalie Gislason, Ben Gislason here with you, providing the tones of the day. Great day for soccer. Hopefully some of the rain you're seeing in the forecast will hold off, at least for the 1A game. Can't say we might not see a little bit of damp weather for the 2A and 3A games later on today. We'll have all the coverage for you here all afternoon long, as we've had all week long.
In the last couple minutes, I've seen Denver a lot with the ball in the air, using their feet. And I think they have the ability and the skill. They need to let that ball come down, collect it with their chest or their feet, and get it on the ground, because they're just playing too much in the air, and that's why you keep getting all these throw-ins and just no movement.
Foot race into the corner. Getting there first for the Cyclones is Lydia Gleason, 20-game starter as a sophomore, fending off the press in the corner of Malia Wolf, and Wolf's able to get what she wants out of that, a throw-in, and here comes the arm of Paige Davis trying to whirl this one into a scoring area. Davis with a long throw in, and that one is touched back to Davis, who tried to keep it in play and winds up soaring that one behind the net for a goal kick. That'll give the Cyclones possession here again with just over 25 clicks remaining in this second half. Overtime starting to become something both teams might just barely be thinking about here.
Yeah, with 25 minutes left, there's still a lot of time. But if I were Denver, I would not want to have to go through that all again. It's 2 rounds of overtime and then penalty kicks, and that's a long game. I understand the game has changed from when I played. It's now an 80-minute game versus a 90-minute game. But still, when you're doing 2 rounds of overtime and then you have to do PKs on top of that, no one wants to do that, let alone have to do it multiple times. And they just had to do that less than 24 hours ago. We watched it. So if I were Denver, I'd be like, all right, I'm hungry. We've done this before multiple times. Let's just get this done and do it again.
Now Hudson also went to double overtime in their semifinal against Aplington Parkersburg.
I didn't realize. So both teams are like, well, I guess we just don't want the soccer to end this season. They want to keep going. But I would think that they'd want to I know that they want to get this done in the next 20, 25 minutes. We'll just see if they can do it.
The senior, Callie Stickford, lost it to Addison Shepard.
Great ball movement right there between Denver. Put together 5 or 6 passes there, and now we have a breakout on the left side.
Wonderful give and go work that springs Mullard in. She tried to filter it in, and that's going to bring a corner here for Denver. Shepard will trot in to take it. And for Davis, just not the clear she wanted. Wanted that one to go out on the near side. It winds up spinning off of her boot. And in for a Channel Seeds corner kick. Shepard swings it in. Good defensive posture from Davis. Shepard again, this time on her left foot. A good header just over the bar. That was the senior Grace Mullahan with a golden chance.
Great work here. She collects that one touch and then gets it off above the defense right to a head. That was a great scoring opportunity for the second time. That first corner kick, though, you need to be aware of Paige Davis's height. I mean, from here, she looks like she's 6 feet tall. You got to have someone in front of her that can jump because she's going to get that every time if you go near post. So I would say Denver can make that little adjustment, but just, of course, great work by Addison Shepard. They can just continue to rely on her for serving good balls.
One of the best chances of the game for Denver.
And she is just their go-to gal, and now she's totally on the opposite side of the field, the top part of the half, and she is their go-to gal for serving up high ball, hopefully in the 18 here.
Another set piece. Again, Shepard delivers. And again, Hudson, who has been heralded as an incredibly solid defensive team. They're showing that today. That was good defensive work from the senior Valdivieso.
Again, I can see why Hudson's such a great defensive team when they have 10, including the goalie, 10 of their players playing a defensive position. I mean, when you have that many midfielders and they all get back, I can see why it's difficult to break that wall.
It feels like a team that relies on walling off their opponents like they do and then looking to the likes of Taylor Davis to make one, maybe two spectacular plays to get on the board.
That's why I've been so impressed with Hudson's play is although they have their keeper in the 9 of the 10 playing more defensively, they have been on Denver's half most of the game. I mean, here we are yet again. So they've kind of put together this great team or this great like how they do their lines. It's been really working for them, which is why Denver hasn't had a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, the game plan for Ashley and Ben Smiley has been a good one to this point. But Denver is starting to slowly find their footing as this is another set piece. They've had 4 of them in this half. The second corner, this one brought to you by Channel Seeds, as they all are, and it'll be the talisman piece in Addison Shepard stepping in to swing in yet another corner. Shepard's take gets in to where she wanted it. It's loose and a diving clearance made by the senior Callie Stickford.
Gosh, she just continues to impress me. She has hit those balls exactly where they should every single time. Especially as a right foot here, swinging it in, it lands right in front of the goal. You just have to get a body on that.
It's a great look at it. Terrific work by our broadcast team to get a view of that cross, and it did look like it was coming down right in front of Grace Mullahan. It's someone that you'd love for that one to land on her foot with 11 goals. But a terrific play from Stickford to make sure that Mullahan never got a look at what could have been, at this time of the day, a game-winning goal.
But again, there isn't a ton of tactics on a corner kick. Like, you just have got to get your body in there, and you need to be watching the ball with, with all your thoughts going, how can I just get this ball into this net? It doesn't matter if it goes off my shoulder. I just need to crash the net. And there's definitely, on both teams, I've seen some timidness on both sides when it comes to crashing the net.
Iowa Girls State Soccer Tournament presented by Iowa Farm Bureau here on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy. And the hour growing late here this morning. All these games bumped up due to the impending weather coming into central Iowa later this afternoon. Both of these teams played yesterday. Originally, they were slated to play on Thursday, but that day was a complete washout with some brutal storms that came through. Most of the state got clipped, and so semifinals were played yesterday.
I know these poor girls have had to be adaptable throughout this entire tournament because they've been dealing with record heat and then rain and storms, and here they are. They've shown up, and they're both playing a good game. They just cannot get a goal either side. We'll see what happens in the next 20 minutes or so.
Natalie, you tell me, are these players used to playing back-to-back days?
Yeah, I mean, in high school, oh, we got an offside there. In high school, usually you don't. I think if I recall, it was like a Tuesday, Friday, or a Wednesday, Friday. If any of them play club, absolutely, because your soccer tournaments are Friday, Saturday, Sundays. I'm not sure about these 1A schools, how many of them are playing club ball, but that's a great point, Benny. They may have not been used to going back-to-back, especially, again, they haven't even had 24 hours. We were watching them yesterday afternoon, and we started this game at 9 o'clock in the morning. So that's a little rough on them, but it's all adrenaline, too. Like, you're in the state championship final. So I think that'll really help them and their bodies as they try to kind of work through a back-to-back game.
No matter how today ends in this 1A state final, it will be either school's first state championship. So both teams looking to make history for their small but proud communities here. Hudson against Denver. Two teams separated by 21 miles up near the Waterloo area. Awfully familiar, as the last 6 contests dating back to March of 2024, Denver has been the victor in all 6. That includes a state semifinal win for Denver over these Hudson Pirates at the state tournament last year. And so there's nothing this Pirates team would love more than to hand Denver a loss. Shepard in the box. Have not seen her control the ball in the scoring area much here in this game, despite how prolific she's been. She's been more of the artist setting up offense than necessarily creating it for herself.
She has. Otherwise, Hudson has shut her down. And I'm noticing we're in an enclosed space, so we can't tell the weather, but I'm watching all these parents bringing umbrellas out. So obviously it's starting to sprinkle, which changes the game a little bit. Now the ball is going to move a little bit quicker depending on how good the field is, and we can see the field is beautiful. It's short grass. So that ball will move faster. You just have to play a little bit differently, and hopefully the gals can adjust to that. Oh, yep, you can start to see the rain coming down now.
A day that we're grateful to have an enclosure.
Yes, but playing in the rain is great, as long as it's not pouring, which it's not yet. It can just be a little bit more dangerous.
So a change in the weather. We'll see if it brings a change in the score. 15:48 remains here in this second half. The teams will play 2 overtime sessions before heading to penalty kicks if we need to get there.
And Hudson's goalie, she just got the ball on her feet. She has just not really gotten to touch the ball much this half. So great work by her for catching that ball and being able to work.
A chance now for Addison Shepard, yet another set piece. She'll loop it in. That one's hit high into the air. A second chance at it here. The header goes towards the goal, trying to race it down. For Denver was Aubrey Juergens. But again, Hudson's defensive posture is sound. Valdivieso trying to strip it from Shepard. She cuts in. Here's space for their leading scorer. Great recovery from Valdivieso to get just a touch on that. But it will be a corner kick here. And Denver is starting to really turn up the heat.
That was great work by everyone on that team. And we're going to watch the replay here. But Juergens, I think, is really who started this play just a little bit before that shot. She's the one that saved it from going out, and then it would have been a goal kick. But here we are with a corner kick because of her hard work. And finally, Shepard's getting some opportunities to actually shoot instead of, as you said so well, being the artist behind the plays.
A Channel Seeds corner kick. Addison Shepard taking over the game as she lobs one in. The header from Mullahan had some zip on it, but it was well wide.
You just watch that from up here and you're like, oh, I just need you to shift your body towards the net, and then that goes in every time. I think she was just a little off there. She wasn't expecting to get that perfectly to her head, but if she just moves her shoulders and then uses her neck muscle to turn left, then she can get that ball in the right direction. Great ball, per usual, on the corner kick.
IMT substitution, Nicole Gomez will slot in for Denver. And it has been a very interesting change in this second half. We talked so much, Nat, about the first half and the play of Taylor Davis. She was integral to all that Hudson did, the scoring chances they had. She had one beautiful chance of her own that she just sent wide. But now it's all Addison Shepard. We barely saw her in the first half. The roles have completely reversed. And Shepard's had the ball. She's been creating. She's generated her own scoring chances. She's taken over this game here in the second half, and we shouldn't be surprised to see it. 38 goals on the season, 5 in this tournament.
Yeah, I'm with number 2 on that. I think that was a bit of a flop. But the first 10 minutes of the second half, we saw Taylor Davis immediately. Oh, here's a replay quick. Yep, I stand by my comment.
There's always a degree of theatricality to the sport of soccer.
and
There's no question about
that's
it.
That's kind of been a bummer. It's just changed so much since my time. My favorite team was Italy in the 2006 World Cup. They ended up winning it, and they were the only team that would do those dives. And now every team does it. And then you're watching these young players, both men and women, that are watching these. Just like how you parent, right? They're watching these adults, and these players are now all starting to dive in high school. We need to start cutting that out of the game, which started a little bit last night in the U.S. game. When we were watching, they got in trouble for a dive. So we'll see what we can do here with this throw-in.
Yeah, there was a Paraguay player that got a yellow card for diving. I'd never seen that. I'm with you. I think that's a good precedent to set. Uh-oh, a clear in front that goes awry for Denver. A couple of swings between Davis and Wolf there. That could have been a major miscue for the Cyclones. It looked like they had it all swept up, no problem, but then all of a sudden it bounced to the most dangerous player on the field in white.
Yeah, Wolf will be frustrated with herself because that was an opportunity. Her body wasn't positioned exactly like she wanted it. So great opportunity for them, and they tried to capitalize, and maybe they'll get a second one here sooner than later.
How much offensively, Natalie, is about making sure that even if you don't know a chance is coming, you always are thinking and being conscious about your body position. So if it does, you don't have to react to it. You can say, hey, I'm set. All I have to do is fire this.
Bingo. Like, you have to be on your feet, right? That's what we always hear, on your feet, on your feet.
Great ball from Gomez. Mullahan gets there, back to Gomez, off the post. It's still loose, and it doesn't get through. Oh, the freshman Nicole Gomez was inches from the hero, but this game stays 0-0.
Wow, let's watch this replay. Saves the ball, puts it in with her knee, and goes off the post. Oh, what an opportunity for Denver. They can feel it. Again, we started saying it, and then so many plays were happening, but Denver's been putting together so many good passes. That's a great slide tackle. They continue to put together some plays, and that's why all of a sudden we have seen Shepherd, and no more Davis, because it has been all on this half.
Beautiful connection between Mullahan and Gomez on a give and go. That almost gave the Cyclones the goal they've been waiting for, but the wait continues. Almost 70 minutes in, no score yet, but Denver has been inches away from grabbing a late lead here. There was that header from Mullahan roughly 5 to 7 minutes ago that had the building standing, and then that last chance from Gomez, the best we've seen from either team in this championship match. Jurgens a try. That one's blocked down, and then the rebound gathered up by the freshman keeper, Austin.
See, Hudson, they need to have right there. Shepherd received the ball and was able to turn immediately. Hudson cannot let her turn. They need to be able to keep her back to the net. See, right there, that's exactly what Hudson should be doing, and then she was able to turn. You need to have one, if not two girls on her at all times. She's the best player. You know that. She has scored the most goals. All they're looking to do right now is score a goal, so they need to have someone on her so that she cannot turn that ball.
Denver looking to cap their perfect season.
Gosh, that gal can really throw. Every time they have her throwing the ball, and she can really move it forward.
Well, interestingly enough, both of the best throw-in players for either side wear number 11, Bailey Mullahan for Denver, and Paige Davis on the other side for Hudson, and yet another corner kick here for the Cyclones.
And what's funny about Mullahan is she's a center mid, so she has to run out to go take those throw-ins, versus Davis at least is on the outside already.
Denver had one corner kick in the first half. They've had 4 here in the second. It comes in from Shepherd. That one not one of her best, as she was looking at the top of the 18 for Elise Ricketts. That one fizzles out, but yet another Channel Seeds corner kick that Denver, who has done so much with those here in the second half, Shepherd won't be all too happy with the way that one ended.
Yep, that needed to be a lot higher, but also she has to give herself some grace. That's the first one that she hasn't done perfect. You know, the rest of them have been exactly where they need to be, so you can't get it right every single time.
Shepherd again, who's been all over the ball here in this second half. She's got it again on a return feed from Grace Mullahan. Jurgens stepping on her was Siri Olsen. And the junior will parry it away to the middle of the field where finally Taylor Davis is back in possession for the first time in a long time. Davis will take on Rothmeyer one-on-one, burning to the outside. Davis cutting into her left, and she goes down. And the officials will let this play on. It's kicked out of play by Denver, and Davis just trying to stoke herself back into the conversation here after an extremely quiet second half to this point.
But again, with Hudson, is they're so defensive. And when she was coming down the field, there were only 2 forwards there, and there were 6 defenders for Denver. So the team, as much as they are defensive and they're doing a good job of that, they still have to score 1 goal. I mean, a goal needs to be scored. So they need to be able to move forward with the field so they can collect the ball when she's able to cross it in. You saw again, Denver tried to head that, and Hudson tried to kick that. Those collisions, like I said, are a little scary.
Again, Olsen stepping up. That one splits the legs of Addison Rome. Behind her, though, to help out, defender Mackenzie McEwen with under 7 now to play here in regulation. Smith, a looping drive well wide that will go out for a goal kick. And Adina Murch, who's been having to keep herself occupied at the other end for Denver here, will get a touch.
Good.
Sophomore Rome. Over for Rothmeyer. She was called to task often in the first half defending Davis. She's been watching more than she's been defending here in the second. But with a player like Davis, even though she has had a quiet second half, one of those players that's invisible until she's not. And she could win this state championship in a second if she gets the opportunity.
The last few minutes, I've just seen a lot of kicking back and forth, not a lot of possession, which is why you can see both teams are kind of frustrated because they haven't been able to move the ball forward. These teams just need to settle down. They still got 5 minutes, and there's been a lot of opportunities, and they need to put together some passes, and then that's how you move forward.
Unable to keep that in despite a great effort was the freshman Malia Wolf. Started in 13 games. Actually, they're going to give this one to Hudson. Looked like the Denver crowd was a little unsure of that call.
I think everyone disagreed with that. Even Hudson, the gal smiled because she thought she got away with something.
Now Paige Davis will get a chance to utilize those impeccable throw-in abilities of hers here with just under 5 to go. Goose eggs on either side of the scoreboard here on the campus of Iowa State University, the 1A championship, drifting closer and closer to what could be overtime. As thrilling as it gets when you get to sudden death overtime in a state championship game. Both teams hoping they can find a way to end it before getting to golden goal territory.
It does. It starts to get long. And again, these gals aren't used to playing past 80 minutes. So, I mean, obviously, you're right, your practices are 2 hours and whatnot, but I'm saying a full match. And they, and their bodies might not be conditioned to do that, especially since they just played yesterday. And they both just played double overtime yesterday. So now they're going to have to do it and they're going to have to use their heads a lot more in these last now 5 minutes for this match and the overtimes if we get there.
Nicole Gomez, who hit the post a few minutes ago, is able to draw yet another corner kick, the 5th of the half for Addison Shepherd and the Denver Cyclones. Will it be a set piece that provides the big moment?
We'll see if Shepherd can do what she's done time after time and not what she did last time.
Shepherd's cross.
Beautiful.
It's a good one. It goes into the air and lands on the top of the net. I think that might have caught the shoulder of Bailey Mullahan, who was able to elevate, as we'll take another peek at this again here. Once more, Shepard's deliveries have been just airmailed. They've been perfect.
I couldn't tell if it was off of Davis's shoulder or the head of Mullahan, or a combination of the two.
Yet another Channel Seeds corner kick. And it feels like if Denver can keep gathering those corner kicks, one's going to find a way across the goal line. Every ground ball that comes in now to Charlie Austin, even though it seems like a rudimentary save, the deeper you go in a game, the more you might feel a little more heat on those that come swimming in towards your goal line.
Yeah, and she's been tested a lot this half, so we'll see what's going on the next 2 minutes. If Hudson starts moving forward, the goalie may be a little off just because she's barely touched the ball, but Denver has just continued to press.
Rothmeyer's pass out of the reach of Gomez. What an impact she's made coming in as a substitution for this Denver Cyclone team. Just a freshman, scored 5 goals, added 8 assists this season. Drew that last corner kick and hit a post earlier in this half.
Great work by both those mids. Just trying to get the ball. Unlucky for Hudson.
Mistake there from Paige Davis. That will give the Cyclones a chance at a quick counterattack. The throw in from Juergens. Racing over to get a piece of that. Caitlin Stickford, who's had Callie Stickford, who's had an awfully good defensive day for Hudson. Caitlin Stickford, her sister, left earlier due to an injury.
1 minute.
And a minute to go here in regulation. Now a chance for Shepherd. She cuts in and fires and didn't get a lot on that left-footed strike. And a pretty comfortable save for the freshman.
Great move. Again, Hudson cannot let her be doing moves on them and being able to get a shot off. But she is so close, and you can tell she wants that. So we'll see what happens here in the next 40 seconds and overtime. But Shepherd has had a lot of opportunities that have just come close. If she keeps getting those opportunities, she will be able to capitalize.
.23 seconds until we will head to golden goal overtime.
Parkersburg and Stella Sorensen from Trainer. Please report to the trailer on the west end.
Quick throw in from Denver. Mullahan sweeps one in. Juergens knocks it down. Trying to leave it for Shepherd. Taken back, and a long try at the buzzer from Addison Rome is scooped up, and 80 minutes were not enough. We will head to overtime to decide this 1A state championship here in Ames.
At MidAmerican Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. MidAmerican Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Something exciting is growing on Iowa farms these days. Innovation. From tractors that seed, weed, and harvest with data-driven precision to drones that scout or plant cover crops to protect soil and water. Even our animals live in smart homes with round-the-clock care. Technology keeps your food safer, water cleaner, and makes us more sustainable. Because what we do here benefits everyone here. Life on the farm makes everyone's life better.
Yeah, it's a trip when you hit the road. And when you know when you've arrived. It's a trip when you get everything you want. The burger and the fries, the creek and the crick, the city and the countryside. It's a trip when you're where you're meant to be. In this moment, in this bathroom mirror, looking like $1 million. And yeah, it's a trip when it goes by fast. Des Moines. It's a trip. Make it yours.
fuel choice that's cheaper, homegrown, and better for the planet? Now that's worth the hype. Pump it up with unleaded 88.
Weather conditions here in Ames starting to dampen, but as they do, the drama heightens. Heading to an overtime session here on the IGHSAU Digital Network powered by Mid-American. It is Hudson, it is Denver, it is the 1A state championship, and it is next goal wins. Alongside Natalie Gislason, I'm Ben Gislason, the rest of our broadcast crew doing an impeccable job of bringing you what has been an airtight game and really a tale of two halves, Natalie, where Hudson was a team that looked like they were destined to find a way into the lead in the first half. We barely saw any of the Pirates in the second half. It was all Cyclones. What do we expect here in this overtime? Will we see another shift, or will Denver keep on keeping on?
You know, we didn't talk in between periods, but that is exactly what I was going to say. It's two very different halves. You have Hudson controlling the first half, no question, and Denver controlling the second half, no question. So it's unpredictable. We aren't sure what's going to happen. Is Denver going to continue to do what they were just doing for the last 40 minutes? It's a really brief intermission here between half and overtime. So potentially, but then Hudson maybe is going to wake up here and focus a little bit more on what they were doing so well in that first half, which is using the Taylor Davis line.
Well, you can see the stands lined with umbrellas, and for those who didn't bring them, blankets. However, they can, trying to stay dry here as the rain is beginning to pick up a bit. Looks pretty light as of right now, but as you talked about, Natalie, that will play a factor in overtime. Ball might move a little quicker. Footing might not be as sure-footed for these talented 1A players. As Denver, we're going to see now some of the opportunities they were able to carve out in that second half. This was the best one for the freshman Nicole Gomez off the bar. Otherwise, much of their offense did come from corner kicks and set pieces. Addison Shepard had some wonderful moments that unfortunately for Denver did not lead to the game-winning goal.
Yep, so if I'm the Hudson coach, I am saying a lot of their opportunities, most of their opportunities were off set pieces, so we have got to not let those corner kicks happen. If something is going on the goal line, make sure you are kicking it out to the outside so at least it can be a throw-in, and just avoid that experience in general. As for the weather, I'm not too worried. If you play girls soccer in Iowa, it's a spring sport, so you're living in rain throughout the whole season. So I don't think this is going to affect them that much, and it's not pouring. It's just, at least what we can see from the booth, it's just a gentle rain. So this is nothing new for them. I'm just worried about, they just played yesterday. They aren't used to playing back-to-back, and now we're going to overtime, and they both went through double overtime. So we'll just see from a conditioning standpoint.
Well, how about this? For these players, for the parents, for the families, for the towns, neither team in their history has ever won a state title. They are both now into an overtime session in the state championship game. As pressure cooker of a moment as you could imagine for these girls, this is going to be a whole boatload of fun and a whole boatload of pressure as we're underway in Golden Goal overtime. Next goal wins, and they win it all here in the 1A championship game. Will it be Denver, or is it finally Hudson's time to slay their deep, deep opponents of the North Iowa Cedar League Conference, this Denver team that has won 6 games in a row against Hudson dating back to 2024?
And we talked about at the beginning of the game, but just to reiterate, I mean, you're seeing 11 gals on the field and then at least 11 sitting on the bench for both teams, and both coaches told us that their programs just keep growing. And these schools, this is a 1A school, these are smaller schools, smaller towns. The fact that they're getting this much interest in women's soccer just shows you how much this game means and what it means for the future as well.
Nicole Gomez, who's had a good second half and on since she subbed in for her head coach, Kane Eagle. I can't say I'm surprised, even though Gomez didn't start, Eagle keeping Gomez in for the overtime because she's been an impact player.
Yep, and she livened her team up even more so. It's funny, the two things we said could happen after this half have already happened. Most of the time spent in the first minute and a half have been on the Denver offensive half, and yet when it was moved out of there, it was done by Taylor Davis. So both teams are playing a big impact like we thought that they would. It's just who's gonna be making this goal. I have no idea.
Turnover there from Baldoviezo. Help comes, though, in the form of Siri Olsen. Knocked back in by Addison Rome, and that one is away from harm. It'll be a goal kick. And speaking of Taylor Davis, partner, how do you get her back involved in the game? Because she was a roaring presence in that first half. Not much of a whisper from her, though, in the second.
Yeah, I've noticed who's guarding her. So I've noticed the center mids are starting to come and guard her as well. She usually has one, if not two people on her. I mean, you always have one on you, but I've noticed that Denver is seeing her and making sure that when the ball comes her way, she's got two gals on her. So she just cannot seem to get open, and they just can't. It's not even that. They just can't even get the ball to her because they're spending so much time defending when they're in their own half, as we're seeing here, right? They're just constantly in their own half, Hudson is.
Hudson has had a difficult time. If you look at the field almost in layers, that third layer is obviously where the forward Davis is at. They've had a hard time even getting into the second layer to make that connection with her. And anytime they lob it forward, it's too far or it's out of the reach of Davis.
That's exactly what I was saying, is they can't even seem to get it to her. It's funny because if you notice where the goalie went there, she kicked it towards Taylor Davis, and then Taylor Davis got the ball. So they're right, they have the right mission. It's just, can they do it?
Again, trying to connect with Davis down the touchline there, and that went out of bounds. Denver gets it back. Ahead now for Grace Mullahan. Ends up out of bounds. A quick turn in, though, on the throw-in by Mullahan. And here is Shepard. The sensational sophomore for Gomez. Back in for Shepard. Good idea. The connection wasn't quite there. Now a long try from Mullahan. Kicked loose for a rebound. Shepard trying to win it from a tight angle, and it somehow stays out. A miraculous diving save from the freshman Charlie Austin.
Wow, we're standing up here in the booth just because there was so much action there and we couldn't see it fully. And here we're going to watch a replay.
A mayhem moment for Hudson. That leads to a corner kick brought to you by Channel Seeds. The threat isn't over yet. Shepard's cross headed away by the towering presence of Paige Davis. Well, that had the entire stadium standing.
And again, just look at the work that this Denver team is doing to get that ball.
And this will be Hudson's ball, but wow, that was chaos. After the shot came in, the rebound popped loose, and it was Shepard, the 38 goal scorer, 5 in the tournament, who had 2 looks at it. She was able to get enough to nurse it towards the goal line. And how about the presence of mind and the moxie of Charlie Austin not to panic? And I mean, she couldn't have played that any later, or it would have crossed the goal line. The game would have been over, and Denver would have been state champions for the first time.
That was great work by Charlie Austin. What I was saying was I was standing up to look out so I could actually see it, and I saw the parents standing up and then turn and look at each other with mouths agape. Everyone was in awe.
Good move there from Taylor Davis, but slotting over was Rothmeyer with some help from Elise Ricketts, who made the defensive play. That's about the most we've seen Davis do.
But again, when Hudson has had the ball in the half, in their offensive half, it has been Davis on this side. We have not seen it on the other side yet in this overtime, and we're already halfway through it. So they will continue to use this left flank, as they should, because that's where they've seen success.
Big collision between Juergens and Siri Olsen. Olsen gets up okay. Juergens is laboring, still in pain here, as we'll see this again. Ouch.
Yeah, that one hurt.
Well, that's 2 forceful players there coming together, trying to get that ball headed in the direction of their attacking nets, and wound up in, looks like Juergens got the worst of it.
And again, we've said throughout the whole game that this is a physical game and these are physical teams. And I commend both those gals. Like, they want to win this and they're both going after that ball. That just is a crappy tackle. That just hurts.
Clock stops at 4:07 with the injury timeout, and there is going to be a card issued here.
Wow. a card issued to the player that's gimping off the field, which is always interesting too.
Well, looks like Juergens was going off whether she was carded or not. She's having a lot of trouble putting pressure on her right leg. That's Siri Olsen who collided with Juergens there. One of the captains of this Hudson team.
Sometimes when you have a tackle like that, you have an injury issue, but also it's just, wow, what just happened? Because that was such a big collision. So we could see her coming right back in after she just stretches it out, make sure it's all good. We could see her come right back in, just because I know that she's a big presence on this team, especially there in the middle, and see what she does in the overtime.
So play resets here with 4:07 to play in the first overtime. Next goal wins the state title for the 1A class here in Ames. Hazel Colesrud with a pass up the far side that ends up out of bounds. Does feel like Hudson has started to get a little bit of the game we saw in the first half back. And it's not just because they're attacking the same way they were in the first half. A little more ball control here as they look for Davis, and a good headed clearance by the Cyclones' Ricketts.
Yeah, now the momentum is starting to shift, and it's going towards Hudson. So it's been such an interesting game because wherever the momentum has been, it's been there for a long period of time. We'll see if that continues or if Denver will continue to just control this overtime.
Well, even though Hudson's had the most of the ball, it was Shepard who had that glorious chance right off the hop, where we saw Charlie Austin, there she is, shine her brightest with a stunning diving save, pulling it off the goal line. Three to play in the first overtime. And a clear from Paige Davis, who has had her name called a lot on the back line for Hudson here this morning.
Talked about it before. We got to talk about,
Big turnover. Taylor Davis has space. She'll cut in on Ricketts. Davis and a slide tackle with some touch by Bailey Mullahan. That is a monstrous defensive play by the senior. A try that gets tipped. That was Baldoviezo who sent it curling towards goal. It was stopped in front by Lydia Gleason.
Great defending there. Great slide tackle. We'll see a replay here of that slide tackle. Cuts in by Davis. Great slide tackle. Gets her foot. Surprised they didn't call it, but also kind of a gutsy play that close to the goal.
Throw in from Davis goes haywire, but did you think Davis was a second from firing that?
I do. Because
Looked like she was loading up.
She had already cut it. Yep, exactly. And she had gotten past that player. So I think that the next, and that's exactly what you have to do. Sometimes you have to do some crazy things so that the ball doesn't go in the goal. Sometimes you get cards for that, but that's what happens so that you don't have a scoring opportunity. And she didn't even get a call. So good work on her.
Perfectly timed by Mullahan, and you're right, Nat. There was no other line of defense. That shot was getting off, and it was going to go towards the goal if Mullahan doesn't get there with that slide tackle. And so if there is a Cyclones win left in this day, you'll look back on a play like that and say that might have saved the game.
I know. That does happen. Fans, you are asked to
Looks
go
like
to your
we've
cars
got a
at this
lightning
time.
delay here, so this is going to prolong this
Teams will go
game
to locker
even
rooms
more. Well, it's been scoreless, but it hasn't been unentertaining. Lots of
all
twists and
spectators
turns
must
in this game, and now a lightning delay
area
will
because
make
you're
this
all
an
sitting
even
in the middle
stranger
bleachers.
morning
That would be
as the
Thank
1A
you for your
state
cooperation.
final will be prolonged. The fans will have to leave the stadium, head to their cars. The players will have to go in too. And so that means we'll take a break in the action here. And when we come back, make sure the sky is clear of lightning. And then we'll see if one of these teams can finish this lengthy 1A final here in Ames on the IGHSAU Digital Network, powered by Mid-American.
At MidAmerican Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Yeah, it's a trip when you hit the road. And when you know when you've arrived. It's a trip when you get everything you want. The burger and the fries, the creek and the crick, the city and the countryside. It's a trip when you're where you're meant to be. In this moment, in this bathroom mirror, looking like $1 million. And yeah, it's a trip when it goes by fast. Des Moines. It's a trip. Make it yours.
Hey, Frank. Oh, it looks like you spilled some grease.
Grills are multiplying and you need flavor that's bold.
There's nothing left for you to do
But to go to Fairway, your dream for Midwest meat. It's the one you need.
Fairway, it's the one you need.
Excelling in athletics takes teamwork, dedication, and a commitment to excellence. These are the same qualities that help our pig farmers and our communities thrive. The Iowa Pork Producers Association is proud to support statewide high school athletics and the student athletes who make us all proud. Visit iowapork.org/WeCare to meet the people behind the pork and hear about our winning approach to caring for our pigs, the environment, and our communities.
Life's buzzing with energy. From the delightfully routine, to the novel and exciting, to the truly uncharted. With all that life brings, it's easy to lose track of what powers all those moments, our health. At Mercy One, our caring doctors focus on just that, powering health, from the everyday to the extraordinary. So you're ready for what life brings next. Find care at mercyone.org/healthpowerslife.
As we take a quick break from tournament coverage, all of us at the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union want to extend our sincere appreciation to our title sponsor, the Iowa Farm Bureau, for their continued support of this championship event. I'm joined once again by Brent Johnson, president of the Iowa Farm Bureau, who's here to share more about the special souvenirs our participating student athletes will be taking home this week.
You know, that's right, Aaron. Our incredible student athletes won't.
At Mid-American Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
Yeah, it's a trip when you hit the road. And when you know when you've arrived. It's a trip when you get everything you want. The burger and the fries, the creek and the crick, the city and the countryside. It's a trip when you're where you're meant to be. In this moment, in this bathroom mirror, looking like $1 million. And yeah, it's a trip when it goes by fast. Des Moines. It's a trip. Make it yours.
Whether you volunteer or hang with friends, play pickleball, read or follow trends. No matter what your retirement style, you deserve healthy eyes and a healthy smile. Some Medicare plans don't cover vision or dental. With Delta Dental, you can save on what's essential. Get coverage and take care of your health. It's peace of mind, so treat yourself. It's more affordable than you might think. Give us a call or visit this link.
Excuse me, man. You dropped this.
Oh.
Something exciting is growing on Iowa farms these days. Innovation. From tractors that seed, weed, and harvest with data-driven precision to drones that scout or plant cover crops to protect soil and water. Even our animals live in smart homes with round-the-clock care. Technology keeps your food safer, water cleaner, and makes us more sustainable. Because what we do here benefits everyone here. Life on the farm makes everyone's life better.
Freedom Tire is proud to support the Iowa Girl through their sponsorship of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. With 6 locations around the metro, you're never far from getting you back or keeping you on the road. Our certified staff and state-of-the-art technology means you can take comfort knowing you've got the best work at the best prices. Give us a try at Freedom Tire, a proud supporter of the IGHSAU.
Welcome back here on the IGHSAU Digital Network, powered by Mid-American. The 1A championship game currently in a lightning delay. Ben Gislason with you here to give you a brief overview of what you should expect. Again, we've got the lightning delay score bug up right now. You can see it there, so stay tuned for that. We'll get that changed once we know we're getting set to get back to live action here. The rules are lightning strike, or lightning, if you see it in the vicinity on the field, you do have to take a 30-minute delay from that last lightning spotting. And so we saw it at 10:54, so 11:24 would be the earliest this game would kick back off. What a twist for these two teams here in overtime of the 1A state championship game. So stay with us. We'll keep you updated as best we can. Keep an eye to see soccer players coming back out onto the field, because if you see that, you know we must be close to getting started. Again, 11:24 is what we're looking at for the earliest start time to get back to this 1A championship overtime game here on the IGHSAU Digital Network, powered by Mid-American. Well, checking back in. Hopefully nobody's moved because we are on the way towards recommencing this 1A state championship game between Hudson and Denver here on the IGHSAU digital network powered by Mid-American. Ben Gislason with Natalie Gislason, the rest of our broadcast crew, waiting out the storm with all of you. Hopefully you're reloaded and ready to see how this game is going to end. Natalie, we've had all kinds of twists and turns in this game, a long injury timeout during the first half. That seems like ages ago, as here we are in overtime. It's golden goal overtime. We've got a little over a minute left in this first overtime until they'll play a second overtime and then penalty kicks, but we'll see if we get there. In the meantime, as we get ready for the kickoff to this ending of the first overtime, you've been in these situations before, not while you were here at the state tournament, but plenty of times. You mentioned it before. You're playing soccer in the spring in Iowa. There are storms. There is rain. When you have a long delay like this was a 30-minute delay. When you're in the locker room, what do you think was going on in both the Denver and the Hudson locker rooms as these players try to stay locked in to come out and play in the biggest games, really, of their lives?
That's just it. It's the biggest game. Any other game, they'd be like, this stinks, whatever, let's just get through this. Especially with the injury delay, they're like, let's just finish this game, win or loss. You know, it's just like any other game. But this isn't. This is the game. And even though it was a 30-minute delay, the last time they touched a ball was 45 minutes ago. That is a full half that they haven't been able to touch a ball, unless, of course, they were sitting in the locker room doing some touches, which I'm guessing that some of the players were. What I think would happen in that situation is the coaches would go in, they would say, hey, this is what's going to happen. Let's recalibrate in about 10 or 15 minutes, and then let each player handle how they need to handle this time. Because some players need to just goof off and have some fun. Some just need to be by themselves and recalibrate mentally. It just depends. Like here we're even seeing players hugging on the field. Like sometimes we just need to recalibrate. And wonderful. So Caitlin Stickford is back here with her team. Oh, that's so exciting. Such great things can happen from these delays, and you're already seeing that. And then we have those last 10, 15 minutes in the locker room. I'm guessing both coaches were bringing their girls in. They were saying what was working, what wasn't, and they started going back into coaching. But there definitely had to be kind of almost some free time during that space.
Well, this is one of those moments in a larger-than-life game for this team, for Hudson. We're seeing the return of Kaylin Stickford, who was the reason for that long injury timeout. She was stretchered off the field, actually did go into an ambulance to get checked out and make sure she's okay. She has returned to the field. That was her mom walking her back across the field. You saw her teammates coming over to give her a hug. Head coach Ashley Smiley came over to give her a big hug. And so a moment like this could help push you on. It could help surge you on. It might be just what the Pirates needed to give them a little extra boost to try to get across the finish line here in this state championship. And how about this? A player that they probably got an update on, knowing that she's going to be okay, but she's getting checked out by a medical team, which is never what you want your teammate to be getting done to them either. But now that she's back, she won't be playing, but that she's going to be on the bench. She's with her team. She's able to be a part of this moment. How special is that?
Again, if Hudson they already had enough motivation with having lost the last 6 games against this competitor, but seeing the injury and then seeing her come back and being able to sit and watch on the bench with her teammates, that just gives them even more interest and desire to want to win this game. And we can see the fans are excited, the players are excited, and the rain is definitely starting to come.
So it might be a slick and slippery finish to a game that has been very hard to put a finger on who is going to come away with the 1A title, because both teams have had chances. Both teams have had long, sustained stretches of success, but no one has found the back of the net yet. So we already played 80 minutes of regulation time. A minute 17 remains in the first overtime session. The stands are packed once again, and after a 30-plus minute delay, overtime is underway once again. Next goal for the title.
The ball is going to move fast with this rain, and when you get throw-ins like that, if that ball touches the grass, it's just going to skid. You're going to see it right there. It's already skidding, so both teams need to be aware of how much this weather changes the effect of the play.
Good defensive play there from Siri Olsen to make up some ground after Grace Mullahan had skipped her way into a good crossing opportunity. This is a good one. It deflects, and it's over Gomez, but offside anyway. And so, ball will go back into the hands of Hudson.
And again, these poor girls, they have 45 seconds left of this overtime, and then they take another break. And so then they'll have another overtime 10-minute period, but then it'll go to PK, so we'll basically see what they can do in this next 10 minutes.
Well, the wind picking up too, and so you've got the wind and the rain factoring in here. It did sprinkle a little bit during the second half, but when that lightning was spotted to end the overtime, it really was just a drizzle. This is a different rain than we had before that long lightning delay.
And you're seeing already players slipping and sliding. This is really early on and being back on the field. So hopefully they got a dose right there in that minute for this next 10 minutes.
So it will be likely damp conditions to finish this 1A championship game. Both teams a quick minute and 17 to close out the first overtime. We'll head to another 10-minute double overtime now, which is how the game finished for Hudson against Applington Parkersburg. It was a double overtime winner by Gia Baldoviezo. And for Denver, they went to penalty kicks and defeated their semifinal opponent in St. Albert 3-2. And we'll have to wait and see if we get there. And so with that, we'll take a quick break and come back with the upcoming overtime here in Ames. And with that, we're actually going to keep it right here. I spoke a little too soon. Let's watch some moments from what feels like eons ago in this game. That was a header from Grace Mullahan over the crossbar. Put a full neck into that one to swing that one over the crossbar. Addison Shepard had a great second half.
Just a lot of opportunities from Denver, both in the second half and in the first overtime, at least the beginning of the overtime, like you said, eons ago. So now it's a clean slate. We've got a tied game, 0-0. No one's put something on goal. And we got 10 minutes, and we'll see what can happen.
Teams have flipped ends for the second overtime. 1A state championship on the line here in the wind and the rain in Ames.
The girls will need to be a little bit more cautious because of the weather and just connecting passes like we've been talking about, the possession of the game. Denver did a good job of getting up the field there and then unfortunately had a bad pass, but that will be the name of the game is can you connect passes? You don't want to you just don't want to keep hitting the ball out of the field or just in general, right? You don't want this. You need to keep connecting passes to get the ball forward towards the net.
Paige Davis, who's done the heavy lifting at throw-ins today, wiping the ball off. Want to make it as dry as possible so it doesn't slip in your hands. It'll only get wet again here as it lands back on the wet turf.
Exactly, and those white jerseys are not going to be white going home. But soccer players are used to that.
That's what laundry detergent is for. This one trickles back, and goalkeepers will have to take extra care as that ball will slip a little more than it would have in the first and second halves of this game with the damp nature of how this overtime will play out here. And that could play into penalty kicks if we get there too. 8.5 until our game will be decided goalie and shooter.
And this is what I cared about. I wanted to make sure that both goalies had a touch on the ball early on in overtime.
Taylor Davis takes one free. He's got players in the middle and another good defensive play as Denver's able to ward off the threat of Davis again. Handball at midfield will give Denver a chance to advance the ball quickly. Shepard not wasting any time.
And I love that. I wish you could have gotten on there, but the speed there, that's so great because you don't have nearly as many defenders back there.
Well, Shepard looked and felt like she got a lot of ball there, but the officials say this will go back into the hands of the Pirates with 7:45 to go until penalty kicks.
And Hudson defenders needed that time. They felt very overwhelmed there by the offense from Denver. So the fact that they had a chance to get a free kick and slow the game down for a second, recalibrate, is exactly what they needed.
Trying to navigate out of midfield, Callie Stickford, who would have been the happiest on the sidelines to see her sister Kaylin come back from that injury. She's on the sidelines, won't be playing, but here to cheer her team on towards what she hopes will be a state championship. Denver trying to change that. Grace Mullahan can't get it in, but it will result in a corner kick here for the Denver Cyclones. They had just one corner kick in the first half. They have had 7 since.
And again, Addison Shepard there to take the kick. She has been involved in every single play in the last 3 minutes of or I should say the opening 3 minutes of this overtime.
Willie Channel Seeds corner kick decided. It goes in, knocked into the air by Baldoviezo. Pulled back now by Ricketts. Ricketts will have a try and a comfortable save made by Austin.
The fans getting louder with each passing minute, which is great. They're getting down. We only got 6 minutes left of this match before we go into PKs. I'm guessing both teams are looking to get a quick shot on goal in these next 6 minutes.
Again, Davis trying to wipe that ball clean of any rainwater.
And the ball just gets weighted down. So it's nice to have the Union has done a great job of having balls all around the entire perimeter of the field so that you aren't using the same one over and over, because these balls are going to get weighted down with rain too.
Clearance from Wolf of Hudson. 5:36 to play. McEwen out of bounds, and Hudson will get another throw in here from Smith. Pardon, Davis.
A lot of out of bounds balls right now. That's just why and we're having to take time to clean off the balls. So hopefully we can keep the ball in the field so we can play some soccer and not just keep having throw-ins.
A long ball trying to trot after it was Davis. A little too strong from Kaylin Wolf. Davis colliding, trying to pull it away from Rothmeyer. Those two have been at it all game long.
And Davis, I mean, she just is, I think she's the fastest player on the field right now. She just continues to get to balls, even though she's well behind the defenders.
Under 5 to go until it will come down to 5 shooters. Davis along for Wolf. Too far out of the reach of the junior. Hustling back for it, though. Excellent pursuit on the ball, Malia Wolf. Again, Wolf gets a touch on it. That one's out and will favor Denver with 4:27 remaining.
Denver's game has been very fast this overtime, and Hudson's been almost like they're trying to be reactive. Hudson need to come together and slow down this game because the quickness is in Denver's favor.
The quick feed of Davis on the outside, cutting in on Rothmeyer. Davis takes a try, but whenever Davis has been able to gain any space on Rothmeyer, Ricketts has done an excellent job of supporting her outside back. Wolf for Davis. The offense flows through her. She'll swoop one in. Ubin knocks it down, trots after it. This one gets swung in, takes a skip, and nicely handled by McEwen. That was an uncomfortable moment. Davis with a long try and letting that go wide smartly as the sophomore goalie Murch.
Ricketts is doing a good job of player management with Davis. They understand how lethal she can be on the left side. And if you've noticed, whenever Hudson's had the ball, it's always been on her foot or she's been involved in the play. So making sure we have two people on her at all times is how Denver can prevail.
Another high ball in from Natalie Roush. Headed away by McEwen with under 3 minutes to go until penalty kicks will decide this 1A championship game.
It's deja vu for both of these teams, as we've stated. Both of their games ended yesterday, less than 24 hours ago, in PKs. So both these teams, no one wants to be in that situation, but with such little time to reacclimate your body, they don't want to get there. They want to get a goal off.
Great fan support here from both communities. And they've almost animated more due to the rain. At least the high school fans have.
It wasn't often I heard
parents
the
might
OA
have quieted
chat.
down a little bit, yeah, but the high school fans, high school aged fans, I should say, they don't mind getting soaked to the bone.
That's what's great about being a kid. You just don't mind about any of that kind of stuff.
Now, Hudson's had the ball on the attacking side of the field for a lot of this second overtime. Have not been able to test the sophomore goalie Murch yet. Now a counterattack is on here. Big defensive play from Olsen. Had that gotten through, Shepard would have been in alone on a break to win it.
Yeah, that was a great work by Olsen. You're right. If she had not gotten that touch, then it's one-on-one with the keeper. So great defensive play by her to keep this game alive.
Under a minute and a half until we will be one-on-one with the keeper here. Penalty kicks looming. Ahead off the foot of Bailey Mullahan. Her sister Grace gets it back.
1 minute.
And now Rome will sculpt one to the far side. That's out of the reach of Nicole Gomez, who had the greatest scoring chance in this game, hit the post late in the second half. And now we are 45 seconds away from penalty kicks deciding the 1A final here in Ames. And a quick throw in from Taylor Davis. That'll get whistled down. Can understand why she wanted to be in a hurry.
Mm-hmm.
This one will be hit high into the air with 20 seconds to go.
Ten seconds. 9, 8,
And in the final 10 seconds,
5,
one last blast from midfield. And the 1A state championship will come down to goalie and shooter, a penalty kick shootout for all the marbles. Natalie, walk us through the rules and regulations for penalty kicks for anybody that's tuning into their first soccer game this afternoon.
Yep, so there'll be 5 shooters on both sides, and you will go through you will exhaust all 5 shooters, no matter what the score is, unless, of course, it's impossible for a team to win once you've had enough scores. Then if it's still even after 5 goals, then it'll be a 1-1 ratio shot. So if Hudson shoots and misses, then Denver shoots and scores, Denver wins. You will play even 1-1 until you have a winner, and then we finally have a winner of this game. This long match between the injury delay and the rain delay.
Again, Denver was here not even 24 hours ago against St. Albert. They won 3-2 in the penalty kick shootout over the 4th-seeded St. Albert opponents. And for Hudson, they have been to double overtime in this state tournament. They have not been to penalty kicks. They do have quite an ace, though, up front in Gia Bolda Viezo. She scored 5 different penalty kicks this season. So this Pirates team is no stranger to going into penalty kicks. We know that Denver isn't either. Natalie, when you were in these spots, one, where did you shoot in the order? What does it change where you shoot in the order? Who shoots in the order? Who do you usually line up? What's the order look like? Walk us through that run through and what we should expect from both sides here. One thing I always like to point out, you shoot on the same net, which I've always thought is an interesting part of penalty kick shootouts.
Yep, you just have goalies will interchange back and forth. It's always interesting to watch the goalie that isn't part of the play to see what they do, if they watch or if they don't watch, just to figure out how they kind of work in their head. How you line up, all 5 need to be great shooters, and they need to have practiced multiple times. Your first shooter and your last shooter need to be some of your best shooters, because that's who you kind of rely on to set the pace and set the stage, as well as to be able to finish it. Whenever I shot, I always would approach the ball and then shift my hips, open my hips, shift my hips to the left. And so the goalie would always dive right, and then I would just go back right corner. I watched a team do that yesterday. It's exactly what I did. I consistently shot in the exact same spot. Video footage wasn't nearly as big as it is now, so you aren't watching competitors. So we'll see if gals change things up. But here we go with the first shooter with Hudson.
And it'll be the aforementioned Valdivieso. Again, she's scored 5 different times on penalty kicks this season. She's an ace in this department. She'll go mano a mano against Adina Murch, the first shooter. Hudson trying to claim the opening edge. And a great start.
And I love the neuroticism of her. She was such a calculated player. I don't know if you watched, but she set the ball down and she stepped 5 steps back and then 5 steps to the right. And so you know she does that every single time. That's a great soccer player.
And now it is Denver's turn with the senior Bailey Mullahan. Looking to stay level. And in these spots, Natalie, the expectation is score more than save, if I'm not mistaken. The onus is definitely on the goalie to make a save, and she almost got there, but that's a nice finish from Mullahan, who takes care of her portion. And look at the confidence, composure. She looks like she knew she was scoring all the way.
That's what our coach would always say. Our club coach would say, your job as a shooter is to score, and then the goalie's job is to just make one save. They only have to do it once. They have 5 opportunities. You have 1 opportunity, and you need to finish it, and that's why you're one of the players that gets selected.
Well, it was the 6th PK goal for Valdivieso. That was also Mullahan's 6th. No surprise to see the standout start. It's usually your best shooter that opens, and now it'll be the Pirates' best. Taylor Davis looking to make it a 2-1 lead. And Davis does the job.
Wow, Davis really stepped. She was almost outside of the 18 to start. That's something else that's fun to watch, is where do they start? How far do they go out? We talk about that all the time with hockey when they're just circling around. These gals have such a short little space to run through, and for her to start that far back, that's a confident approach.
Everyone has found the back of the net so far. Emily Mullert, the junior, walks to the line now, 1 for 1 on the year in penalty kick takes. A steely glare focus from Mullert. And a stop. Hudson takes the edge. The read from Austin was a good one, and the freshman with a whopper of a stop.
Watching Charlie that whole time was great. She has a very specific, again, all these players have, it's like almost an obsession thing, right? How they move throughout their experience. Oh, wow, and she's taking a PK.
How about this? The equivalent of a pitcher stepping up to the plate in baseball. Charlie Austin is going to try to give herself some help here. Goalie against goalie. The freshman Austin with a beautiful strike.
I don't know if I've ever seen that before.
And she walks right back to the goal line. How do you like that?
She usually taps the right side of the goal, and then she goes back in, but she tries to get into the head of the shooter. If you notice the last one, she just claps at him and then looks at him and then keeps clapping at him right before they shoot.
As much athleticism is needed in this moment, it's probably more mental than it is anything.
Oh, certainly. It's mostly mental. I mean, we all know how to shoot a goal from 10, 12 yards away, but it's very much a mental thing. I mean, look at her. She just claps.
Addison Shepard, the sniper, stopped again! A remarkable moment as Charlie Austin is stealing the show here in this penalty kick shootout. And now the heat is on for Denver's goalkeeper, Adina Murch.
It was funny. Same thing happened today that I did yesterday. Hudson started celebrating. No, girls, you got 1 more goal, you got to score. So, again, this is a perfect example of not having to score 5 goals because there have been 2 saves. So if she scores this, they win it.
Taylor Junker to seal a 1A state final. Junker's strike is in. The long wait is over. 2 years of losing to Denver. No more. The Hudson Pirates are your 1A state champions in a thrilling penalty kick shootout.
just look at the celebration of the girls and the parents. I mean, everyone's crying. I'm crying. But also how cool for the Stickford family and for the team after kind of just a crappy, just a crappy hit. And it wasn't intentional, right? It was just a bad hit. And then come back to get to see it happen. And after having lost 6 times in the last 2 years, they did it.
Well, the emotion is palpable, and the moment as big and as grand as it gets for the Pirates, who again had gone 2 seasons without a win against their rivals in the North Iowa Cedar League Conference, the Denver Cyclones, and the one blemish on this season for Denver is a penalty kick shootout loss in the state final 3 straight years, back-to-back runners-up coming into today. They fall 1 goal short today. There was the moment where it all ended. Taylor Junker, the sophomore, and sheer elation from there for the Pirates.
I mean, every player here deserves some great credit on both teams, but Charlie Austin, really outstanding performance in the PKs. That's when you really need a goalie to show up, and you can see how excited she is there. Just an outstanding performance with them, but also Denver did a great job. So well done by Denver.
With that, we will toss it over to the PA side here at the home of the Iowa State Cyclones for the all-tournament team and the trophy presentation as well. We'll be back to wrap this up. The Hudson Pirates, your Class A state champions in a penalty kick shootout.
From Denver, Addison Shepard. From Hudson, Kelly Stickford. From St. Albert, Eleanor Coughlin. From St. Albert, Ellie Larmy. From Eplington, Parkersburg, Emma Hahn. From Eplington, Parkersburg, Shelby Arculati. From Des Moines Christian, Addie Edker. From trainer, Stella Sorensen. From Hudson, Taylor Davis. From Denver, Grace Mullahan. And your 2026 1A All-Tournament Team Captain. From Hudson, Gia Valdivieso. And now for the trophy presentation. In addition to receiving medals, each player will receive a commemorative soccer ball provided by the Iowa Farm Bureau, title sponsor of the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. Ladies and gentlemen, your Class 1A runner-up, Coach Kane Eagle and the Denver Cyclones. And your Class 1A team champion, the Pirates of Hudson and Coach Ashley Smiley. And now we'd like to recognize today's Quick Star start of the game. And that is the keeper from Hudson, Charlie Austin.
Well, tons of smiles on the scene here for Ashley and Ben Smiley's Hudson Pirates, a 1A state championship. A huge congratulations to the Pirates, their first ever in school history, and a game that was an exercise in patience, Natalie. But let's finish with talking about both teams. Obviously for Denver, a third straight trip to the state final and a third straight runner-up finish. You have to feel for the twins, Bailey Mullahan, Grace Mullahan. They were here for all of these games. They're seniors. They won't get a chance to come back. As they look back at this, though, they will remember how special it was to be here 3 straight years, even though they won't get to go home with that title this season.
Exactly. A great performance. They should be proud of their performance in general for this game, especially with all of the unexpected circumstances that happened with the injury and then the rain delay or lightning delay. But yes, they've been here before, and it's a bummer way to end their season, but they've also had such a great record in their 4 years. I admittedly, I was focusing on those juniors. They've done this now 3 times. They will come back next year and say, we are done doing this. We are ready to win this one. So great performance by Denver.
And then on the other side, we're seeing the joys and jubilation, the smiles, the tears, all the emotions flooding in for this Hudson Pirates team. And not only a state championship, but to do it against their rivals like this, the Denver Cyclones. They had lost 6 in a row dating back to 2024 against these Cyclones. That streak is over. They'll start a new streak now. They won the most important game, and that is this 1A state championship. Tons of performances all over. Obviously, Taylor Davis didn't factor into the game as far as goals and assists. She scored in the penalty kick shootout. But you look at this whole tournament, and you see a Pirates team, they didn't give up a goal in the whole tournament. Clean sheet after clean sheet after clean sheet. And then just to add in a little more spice, Charlie Austin, who was perfect in the tournament, scores one of the penalty kick goals as a freshman. A finish you couldn't script.
I'll keep it simple. Charlie Austin was definitely the playmaker in that. She deserved to be the player of the game, and it's going to be a fun hour and a half on the way home.
Well, we're getting set for the 2A final here. BJ Shaban as well as Austin Oliver will have you for that call. As the day just getting started here in Ames, but it finishes with an absolute thrilling finish in penalty kicks. The Hudson Pirates are your 1A state champions. A big thank you to my analyst and my wife, Natalie Gislason, for a great week of calls. Also to Justin Wolber and the rest of the broadcast team for making today's broadcast possible. And to all of you for joining us here in Ames. One final time, thanks for watching our live coverage of the 2026 Girls State Soccer Tournament presented by Iowa Farm Bureau on the Girls Union Network, powered by Mid-American Energy. Ben Gislason saying so long from Ames.